Good evening and welcome to the start of another long Blues homestand. After a sporadic week on the road, the Blues are back in SLO today for Game 2 against the Arroyo Seco Saints. Yesterday night, the Blues rolled into Pasadena for the first game back from the break and trailed from the get-go, losing 13-1 in the end. The Blues had won 3 games in a row heading into last night and had a chance to take third place but fell well short. The surprising deal with the loss was the shortcomings of the pitching staff. The 13 runs allowed by Blues pitching last night is the highest output an opposing team has had against SLO this summer. The Saints also stifled a hot Blues offense that had scored 8 runs on average across the win streak, holding SLO yesterday to just 3 hits and 1 run. Now back at home for 7 straight, the Blues will send Ryan Baum to the hill to try and start a new winning streak. Can the Blues bounce back after the loss in front of the home crowd? Find out next with first pitch coming up on the SLO Blues streaming network. We welcome you back to Sinsheimer Stadium in San Luis Obispo as we prep for Saints and Blues Game 2. We welcome you into the broadcast booth. Hello, everybody. I'm Jack Smith. I'll be joined by Nate Mills in the 4th inning, but before that, a little bit more pregame action here between the Blues and the Saints. Game 2 of this 2-game series, and yesterday, as we mentioned, a tough one for the Blues, a 13-1 loss, the worst margin of defeat for the Blues this summer, and the most runs that they've allowed in a single game. They went into the break with a 3-game win streak. Now, with the start of the second half, they've lost the first game, and they get a chance to bounce back against the Saints today, and it's really both sides that have to bounce back. The pitching was not up to snuff yesterday and not at the Blues level that we have seen so far this season, and an offense that had scored 23 runs across the previous 3 games was only able to muster 3 hits and 1 run against a Saints team that was struggling coming into the break. A 6 of 8 losing skid for the Arroyo Seco Saints, but when they head into the break, the Saints are the team that comes out hot, the Blues are the team that comes out sluggish, but with the way that the game ended yesterday, a little bit of chippiness from both sides, maybe we can expect a little bit more energy from the Blues today as they try and grab a series split here in Game 2 between the Blues and the Saints. We've got first pitch and national anthem coming up on the way, but before that, one more break. The Blues are taking the field, which means national anthem and first pitch are on the way, and we'll let you take a listen here on the SLO Blues Streaming Network.
And it's T.J. Adams wearing number 12. Batting 8, number 18, Cody Darcy. And batting 9th tonight for St. Louis Obispo, number 27, Cade O'Hara. The starting pitcher for the Blues from Cal Poly, St. Louis Obispo, the right-hander wearing number 9 is Ryan Baum. Blues are led by Dean Trainer. He's assisted by Steve Colley, Brian Trainer, Renee Regalado, and Max Logan. Ladies and gentlemen, we would ask that you would now kindly stand and remove your hats as the Marine Band plays our national anthem.
Another gorgeous crowd, another beautiful day for baseball here in San Luis Obispo. We've got blue skies up above and a perfect setting here for baseball between the Blues and the Saints. Here's the starting lineup for the visiting Arroyo Seco Saints. It starts for the second straight day with Connor Bradshaw, the right fielder from Pepperdine, leading things off. Kite McDonald plays for the first time in this series. The left fielder from Wichita State hits second. Jordan Rogers, another Wichita State player, plays third base, hits third. Chase Meggers moving up in the order. The DH from Oregon hits in the cleanup spot. Jack Hammond, the first baseman from Long Beach State, hits fifth. Alec Jones is behind the plate today. The catcher from Cincinnati hits sixth. Roberto Gonzalez, the second baseman from CSUN, is in the seventh spot. It's Mason Hammonds, the shortstop from Tarleton State, who hits eighth. And rounding things out for the second straight night, Julian Alvarez, the center fielder from Cal Baptist. On the hill for your San Luis Obispo Blues, it is a SLO native, Ryan Baum, who pitches for Cal Poly. Baum making his second appearance this summer for the Blues. 4 innings so far this summer, no earned runs. He faced the minimum in his first start, picked up 6 strikeouts. It's been a while since he's thrown, but now making his second appearance, the 6'4", 180-pound right-hander out for a second time for San Luis Obispo. Here's the defense for your San Luis Obispo Blues today. It's Lewis, Adams, and Burns in the outfield from left to right. 3 players who could be center fielders and have been center fielders for the Blues at different parts this summer, so probably the rangiest outfield you'll see the Blues throw out there. It's Tollerman and Ruley on the right side, O'Hara and Darcy on the left side of the infield, Matt Spear does the catching, and JT Ricken DHs. So Baum, the righty from Cal Poly, he was so good in his first start, and I think dealing with a little bit of an arm issue after that start, and we've been waiting to see him for a second time, and here he gets the call today for Dean Trainer, so stepping up in a big way. The Blues gave up 13 runs in yesterday's game, most of the summer for the pitching staff, so they need a reliable arm, and Ryan Baum back out on the hill. Almost a saving grace for this pitching staff coming out of the break as you get one of the better right-handers on the roster a chance to make his second start. The Blues stand at 9-11 in league play. They were a game away yesterday from taking third place over the Saints, but now they're a game and a half back of Arroyo Seco. The Saints, through 24 league games, are 12-11 through 23. 4.5 games back of first place are the Saints. 6 games back are the Blues, and the Blues now only a half game up on the Conejo Oaks, who right now sit in 5th place. So the Blues went from maybe taking third place yesterday to could potentially fall out of a playoff spot if they lose and the Conejo Oaks beat the Riptide today. So the Blues walking a tightrope and trying to get back to the momentum that they had before the break. We were talking yesterday, Nate Mills and I, about maybe the break came at a bad time for the Blues. Had won 3 straight, their first 3-game winning streak of the last 3 summers. And then they dropped the first game yesterday coming out of the showcase game break. A redemption chance today for San Luis Obispo. And here in the top of the first, it'll be Bradshaw, McDonald, Jordan Rogers to come up against Ryan Baum. It's Connor Bradshaw, the right fielder from Pepperdine, to lead things off. .318 average with 8 runs batted in. Bradshaw led off the game yesterday. Had a double, also walked twice, an RBI on a sac fly. Baum from the windup, first pitch on the way, and Bradshaw fights it off into left, hanging up for Lewis, the left fielder, as he makes the glove just in front of the track. 1 pitch, 1 out here in this ball game. So first pitch was late today, 6:08 p.m. and a 73-degree night here in San Luis Obispo. Another great crowd on hand. Basically every orange bleacher spot filled up, and the families dot the grass as per usual. And with 1 away, here's Kite McDonald. McDonald, the left fielder from Wichita State, first appearance in this series, and he takes a first pitch fastball for a strike, 0-1. 91-mile-an-hour fastball out of the hand of Ryan Baum, so good to see that the arm is working for Baum. 90-plus velocity. This time it's a breaking ball, and McDonald spoils it foul, 0-2. Baum's second appearance after having a very great season at Cal Poly this past year. 3.86 earned run average across 53 innings. 0-2. And McDonald barely taps it foul. Still no balls and 2 strikes. Second year blue, Ryan Baum. 9 walks in the 53 2/3 innings. They're really the calling card of the Cal Poly right-hander. Always around the zone. 0-2 on the way. McDonald strikes out swinging. Baum's first K is out number 2 here in the first, and just like that, 2 away. A nice breaking ball. That was devastating. You see the 90-mile-an-hour fastball to start the at-bat, and then Baum goes breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball for the strikeout. And now with 2 away, it's Jordan Rogers, a third baseman from Wichita State. Rogers, a .263 average, 3 runs batted in. Steps into the box, prepares for an 0-0. And Rogers takes a fastball on the outside corner. Nothing but strikes so far from Baum. 1 pitch, 1 out, then a 4-pitch K. Now ahead 0-1 on the third baseman from Wichita. Baum comes set. Face buried in his glove, an 0-1. And Rogers takes a breaking ball high, 1 ball and 1 strike. So it's Baum and Spear, the battery, as the San Jose State catcher back behind the plate again after Galloway played yesterday. 1-1 the count. Baum kicks and fires from the windup, and Rogers takes high with the fastball, 2-1. Blues play the infield straight up, but the middle infield playing with their heels on the infield grass. 2-1 as Baum delivers, and Rogers takes a fastball perfectly placed on the outside corner, 2-2. Another 90-mile-an-hour fastball from Baum. He's a strike away from getting out of the top of the first, going 1-2-3 in game 2 of this series. Baum shakes his sign, works from the windup. Now he's got it. Kicks and deals, and he struck him out. Rogers chases the breaking ball. Spear applies the tag, and it's a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the first. We had bottom 1. The Blues coming up for the first time. It'll be Burns, Lewis, and Rulli when we come back on the SLO Blues streaming network. Blues are coming up for the first time in this ball game. Here's a look at SLO's lineup, penned by manager Dean Traynor. It's Nin Burns, the leadoff hitter, right fielder from Cal Poly Pomona with a 162 average and a run batted in that he picked up yesterday, the lone RBI in the contest as the Blues lost 13-1. It's Uriah Lewis, the left fielder from San Jose State, right behind him. Jacob Ruley, second baseman today from Cal State Bakersfield, hits third. Matt Spear, the catcher from San Jose State, hits in the cleanup spot. It's JT Ricken who does the DHing and hits fifth. Zach Tollerman, the first baseman, hits in the sixth spot. It's TJ Adams, the Arizona center fielder, in the 7-hole. Cody Darcy, the third baseman from Arkansas State, who hits eighth. And Kate O'Hara, the shortstop from Texas, rounds things out. On the hill for the Arroyo Seco Saints, it's the right-hander from Cal Poly Pomona, Caleb Reyes, 6 foot, 210-pounder, who's got a 2.65 earned run average in 17 innings so far this summer for the Saints. 16 Ks to 3 walks, so he's a strike thrower, and he's been effective. We were told by the broadcasting department for the Saints they only have a couple of reliable starters. Blues saw one yesterday in Carter Herrera. Here's the other today. Caleb Reyes, a teammate of multiple Blues, Cal Poly Pomona player who had a great season this past year. A showcase game selection for the Saints and making a start here in Sinsheimer Stadium. When it starts immediately for Reyes with a Cal Poly Pomona on Cal Poly Pomona matchup. It's Nin Burns stepping up to lead things off for the Blues. 2 Broncos, 1 on the hill for the Saints, 1 in the box for the Blues. It'll be Burns, Lewis, Jacob Ruley. Here in the first, Ryan Bauma, 1-2-3, top of the inning. And now the Blues come up trying to score first in this ball game. They only had a couple of scoreless frames against the Saints yesterday, so the Blues would love to be the first team on the board. Burns takes a first pitch fastball on the inside corner. And you assume that Burns has a little bit of familiarity with Caleb Reyes. Of course, both of them going to Cal Poly Pomona. Figure they've seen each other in practice. So if anyone on the Blues team knows the scouting report on Reyes, it would probably be Burns. 0-1. And Burns chases the breaking ball, taps it just foul. No balls and 2 strikes. Reyes, an interesting sidewinding delivery. When he comes set, he goes into a full knee bent squat. It's almost like he's an accordion where he stares in for his sign, does the bend, and then comes up straight. 0-2 the count. First batter here in the bottom of the first. Burns, Lewis, Ruley due up for the Blues. Reyes bends into that squat, and now the 0-2. He kicks and deals, and Burns takes it outside. 1-2 the count. It really is an interesting squat. I think an accordion is the best way to talk about it. It's so fast, it's so abrupt, but everyone's got their little ticks on the hill. There it is. And here's the 1-2. Burns takes a little off the plate outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Burns a 162 average, run batted in. Picked up his first league RBI in yesterday's contest. The Blues were only able to muster the 1 run, 3 hits against the Saints. Trying to get the offense started here in this one. 2-2. Here it is. And Burns fights it foul down the first base line. So the count's still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Burns this past year at Cal Poly Pomona, a .317 average. 5 home runs, 28 runs batted in. So these were 2 of the Broncos' most important players. Or you've got Reyes, who was in the weekend rotation. Burns, who led off. 2-2. Burns leaves it outside yet again. 3 balls and 2 strikes the count. And Nin's not afraid to take a walk. He's drawn 11 walks so far in league play. 6 hits, but the 11 bases on balls. He's also been hit by 2 pitches. So he knows how to work himself a free 90, which is a good quality in a leadoff hitter. Payoff pitch, and Burns, did he get a piece? Yes, he did. Fouled it just off, right off the handle of his bat, so the count's still full. Caleb Reyes on the hill, Nin Burns at the plate. A battle brewing between the 2 Broncos. Reyes prepares for another 3-2. Pitch on the way, and Burns bounces it on the ground on 1 hop to a snag by Gonzalez, who gets up and throws out Burns at first. 1 away. So with 1 out in the inning, here's a look at the defense for the Arroyo Seco Saints. It's Kite McDonald in left field, Julian Alvarez in center, Connor Bradshaw in right. Right side of the infield is Hammond and Gonzalez. Left side, Hammonds and Rogers. And Jones does the catching. Meggers, yesterday's catcher, moves to DH. Here's Jariah Lewis, the left-handed hitting left fielder from San Jose State. Lewis, a 200 average, a home run, 7 runs batted in. Lost his 5-game hit streak yesterday. Trying to start another one here today. 1 away here in the first. Takes a first pitch fastball from Reyes outside. 1 ball and no strikes. 89-mile-an-hour fastball from Reyes, so similar velocity to what the Blues have with Ryan Baum on the mound. 1-0, 1 out in the first. Reyes set at the belt, comes home, and Lewis tags it out to center. Heading back is the center fielder Alvarez, still on his horse. He keeps going right in front of the track. He makes the catch as he crashes into the ball in left center field. Lewis, a deep fly ball, but nothing to show for it. 2 outs in the inning. 359-foot flyout for Jariah Lewis. And I think his issue is he hit it to the deepest part of the yard. Hits that down the line. It's a home run. And Jariah Lewis, who we've seen have some effortless power, put a nice swing on that one. But an out right into the glove of Alvarez. And here's Jacob Ruley, the second baseman from Cal State Bakersfield. Ruley, a 250 average, 3 runs batted in for the Roadrunner. Reyes trying to match Baum with a 1-2-3 inning of his own. And Ruley takes a breaking ball, perfectly placed. No balls and 1 strike. No balls, 1 strike. Comes set, now comes home, and misses outside. And not only do you have the accordion-like squat from Caleb Reyes, he doesn't look towards home plate until he's pitching the ball. He will come set, and his eyes will be completely directed at the third base bag. As here you see the squat, the stare towards third, and he doesn't turn his attention to home until he's throwing. He throws here and puts it right past Ruley with a breaking ball, 1-2. And we've seen pitchers this summer that do some interesting things. You have Lucas Alanese, who the Blues had earlier this summer with his feet tap. But this is one of the more unique motions that we've seen. Reyes trying to use it to work a 1-2-3 frame. 1-2 the count, here it is. Ruley takes a little off the plate. He did not go around on a check swing. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You see in the major leagues, you've got Craig Kimbrell, who does the bent arm. I don't even know what you would call it, but it looks like he's trying to act like an airplane as he searches for his sign. But I've never seen this. The squat, the set, the stare. And after a long hold, the 2-2 offering, Ruley bounces it on the ground. A big chop foul past the third base bag. Still a 2-2 count. If Ruley can reach, Matt Spear stands on deck, the catcher from San Jose State, tonight's cleanup hitter for the Blues. Straight up defense for the Arroyo Seco Saints. The middle plays away from the bag, though, so a big opening right back where the ball's coming from. Another 2-2. Ruley bounces it, hits it off the inside part of his bat and lofts it into center. He takes a big turn around first, but he'll head back to the second base bag. So he takes the opening in center, puts it right there. It's the first hit for the Blues. A runner aboard with 2 outs. So here's Matt Spear, the catcher from San Jose State. Spear, a 167 average, a home run, 2 runs batted in. A good job by Ruley there to see the opening in the middle of the diamond, and he went right after it. Didn't hit it completely squared up. Kind of caught it off the handle of his bat, but muscled it into center. And a hit for Ruley, who raises his average. And here's Matt Spear. Left-handed hitting catcher. 0-0 count with a runner at first. And Spear hits the first pitch in a deep left center field. Chasing it is McDonald, and it hangs up as he ranges in front of the 380 marker in left for the final out here in the first. The Blues get a hit, but nobody across. As we head to the second, it's still scoreless on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top of the second, 4-5-6, 2 up for the Saints. Ryan Baum's first appearance in 20 days for the Blues, and he worked a 1-2-3 first frame. Picked up 2 strikeouts. He'll face Meggers, Hammond, and Jones here in the second. Meggers, the left-hand hitting DH from Oregon, caught yesterday. Raised his average all the way up to 320. He leads off here in the second as Baum kicks and fires. And Meggers lofts it in the air. Shallow center. In races TJ Adams. Out goes Ruley, the second baseman, and it's Ruley way deep into shallow center, who makes the catch for out number 1. So the second straight inning where Ryan Baum starts things off with a 1-pitch out. And we've never seen an infielder go that deep into the outfield to make a catch. But Adams, who was playing back, had to give way to Ruley, who made the catch and one away. Jack Hammond, now the first baseman from Long Beach State. 319 average, 2 runs batted in for the Dirtbag. Now with 1 out here in the second, it's a right-on-right matchup. Ryan Baum, face buried in his glove, comes home 0-0. And Hammond takes a first pitch fastball on the outer half. No balls and 1 strike. Blues have the yellow uniforms on, the white pinstripe pants with the navy stirrups. And an 0-1 from Ryan Baum. Hammond takes a breaking ball low. Saints are in the navy uniforms. We have the Saints in gray script across the front. Gray pants and the navy socks with the gold trim. 1-1 is in there for a strike with a slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So 1-2 count, 1 away here in the second. Baum's already got 2 Ks, a chance to punch out Hammond here as he comes set and now brings it home. And that's outside past the catcher Spear. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hammond went to the showcase game for the Saints, one of 7 selections for Arroyo Seco. Saw a couple in yesterday's game. Hammond played first base yesterday as well, so back-to-back games at first for the Long Beach State first baseman. As he prepares for a 2-2. Baum delivers and misses low. A fastball that bounces in the dirt and off the umpire. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So back-to-back pitches that Matt Spear, I don't know if he's getting crossed up, but has gone right by him. Payoff pitch on the way. Hammond, did he go around? The ball gets away from Spear, and the Blues have not checked at first, and I think that's a drop third strikeout. And the call goes to first. They said he went around, and because Spear let that ball go to the backstop and no one checked to first, Hammond thought he had a walk. Instead, he reaches on a drop third strike. And we've seen so many of those this summer. It's just crazy. They keep happening. So that's the third strikeout. The third strikeout for Ryan Baum, is now Dean Traynor out to argue about something. But this time the runner reaches. A swing and a miss by Hammond on a check swing. As the ball gets away, he gets first base. I think it's the Blues that hesitated, and they didn't even really check. I think they were fine with that being a walk. But the check swing and the eventual go around by Hammond, because the Blues didn't check it all, it's a drop third strike. And Dean Traynor right in the face of the home plate umpire. But on those 50-50 calls, it's not the home plate umpire's call to make, and he doesn't have to check it first until the Blues ask. So it must have been a swing and a miss, not a called strike. And I don't think the Blues really have an argument there. And it'll be Alec Jones, the catcher from Cincinnati, who will come up with a runner at first. So first base runner for the Saints reaches on a drop third strike. And the Cincinnati catcher with a 122 average, 6 runs batted in, steps up. Pitch on the way. And Jones takes outside with a fastball, 1-0. I mean, now I'm not even really sure if you can count on 2 hands the amount of those that we have seen this summer. Came into, watching CCL baseball. I hadn't seen one of those in forever. And I feel like we've seen so many throughout the course of this 2023 summer. As that fastball is a little high, 2 balls and no strikes. There was a series against the Conejo Oaks here at home where there were 3 in one game and then 2 more the next day. So 5 across 2 games alone. One of the rarer things you see at this level of baseball, but it hasn't been rare this summer. 2-0 to Jones, and the Cincinnati catcher pops it up, first base side. Tollerman chases it towards the fencing, and right as it crosses into the bullpen, he lets it go, 2 balls and 1 strike. Alec Jones had an excellent season this past year at Cincinnati and has just not picked it up the same way here for the Saints. A .278 average for the Bearcats this past year across 46 games. Career high 7 home runs and 30 runs batted in. But this summer he's just 6 for 49. Bomb set from the stretch for the first time today. A long hold and a 2-1. And Jones breaks his bat, a little roller towards third. In comes Darcy, has to go the long way to first, and he guns out Jones at first base for the second out. So a broken bat, ground out for Jones, and the bat does not die a hero. Runner at second now with 2 outs in the second inning. That ball was hit so softly off the broken bat that Darcy had no chance to turn 2. And luckily with Jones's speed running towards first, he was able to still get the out at first, but it was almost like a swinging bunt. So now with 2 away, it's Roberto Gonzalez, the second baseman from CSUN. 133 average, 6 walks for the second baseman. A runner at second, and Gonzalez takes in the dirt. Nice block by Spear, who had to drop to an E. 1 ball and no strikes. So it's Hammond at second, runner in scoring position for the first time today for Arroyo Seco. They had, in 7 of the 9 innings yesterday, had a runner in scoring position against the Blues. Just such a stressful game for the Blues staff. Here, Baum with the start. 1-0. Gonzalez takes a fastball in the outside corner. There were only a couple of scoreless innings that the Blues threw up there all game, and one of them came back in the third, and in that inning it was second and third with 2 outs. So the Blues escaped a jam in one of the only scoreless innings that they had. 1-1. Gonzalez hits it up the middle. In comes the shortstop O'Hara, plays a high hop, and throws on the run in time for the final out. So Ryan Baum picks up 4 outs in the inning. Only 3 of them count, but he works around the runner in scoring position and gets out of it here in the second. We head to the bottom half of the frame. Still scoreless on the SLO Blues streaming network. It's the 5-hole hitter to lead things off for the Blues here in the second, DH JT Ricken. After the Blues picked up a hit in the first inning and didn't score any runs. 2 scoreless frames put up by Ryan Baum, and the Blues bats back up. Ricken, Tollerman, Adams here against Caleb Reyes in the second. The Cal Poly Pomona right-hander comes set, first base side of the rubber. He brings it home and spots up on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Ricken, a .226 average, 3 runs batted in. Announced the other day that he has officially entered the transfer portal, so will not be returning to Oregon, trying to find a new home. And Ricken slashes this one down the right field line, fair ball. big turnaround first as he taps the first base bag. He might have a chance for 3. Ricken digging around second, looking for his second triple of the summer, and now he stops a race back to the second base bag, and Ricken beats the second baseman Gonzalez. A leadoff double for JT Ricken, and the Blues have a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Ricken has the only league triple for the Blues this summer, and he got halfway to the third base bag before he saw the stop sign from Steve Tully. And you never see what ended up happening, which was a race back to the second base bag, and Ricken beat him there. So a leadoff double, and here's Zach Tollerman. A nice swing from JT Ricken. Got a 0-1 fastball and just punished it down the right field line. Nice slashing swing. And here's Zach Tollerman, RBI opportunity. A 185 average, 2 runs batted in so far this summer for the first baseman from Cuesta College. Tollerman pops this one up. First pitch swinging, and he pops it up on the infield. The first baseman, Hammond, right on top of the first base bag, secures out number 1. So the job that Tollerman was trying to do was to get Ricken over to third, but pops up the first pitch, and now TJ Adams comes up. Adams, a center fielder from Arizona, a 200 average, 4 runs batted in. Ricken, despite being a corner infielder for the Blues, playing third base, DHing, he's got some of the best wheels on the team. Coming off, of course, the torn hamstring this past year, but in high school is one of the fastest players at his position as Adams swings and misses 0-1. So that's all to say that if Adams is able to dink one into the outfield here from second base, you'd assume that Ricken's able to score. DJ Adams, right-handed hitter against the right-hander Caleb Reyes. Bent into that squat, working with a runner in scoring position. Ricken at second. 0-1 on the way. And Adams takes low with a breaking ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Blues have lost each of the first 3 games to the Saints this year, including yesterday's 13-1 beatdown. And the Blues trying to get back on track against the Saints because SLO was so dominant against Arroyo Seco last summer. Blues were 5-1 in 6 games versus the Saints last year. And this year, 0-3, searching for their first win here at home. Adams takes low. In fact, the Saints are the only CCL South team the Blues haven't beaten this year. They've beaten the Riptide, they've beaten the Foresters, same thing with the Barons and Oaks. But the Saints are the only CCL South team that the Blues have not taken a game from. 2-1 the count as SLO looks to strike first. Runner at second with 1 out. Ricken gets his lead. Reyes looks there as the shortstop Hammonds holds him on. 2-1 on the way, and Adams ahead of the breaking ball, 2-2. Blues were 9-13 heading into the break last summer, 9-10 this year after dropping the first game of the second half yesterday, 9-11. Game and a half back of the Saints, trying to strike first here in game 2. 2-2. Adams takes low. It bounces off the catcher Jones, and Ricken advances 90 feet. And that is a big advance for JT Ricken. Now a go-ahead run for the Blues here in the second, 90 feet away, and Adams' job shifts completely. Instead of needing a hit to knock in Ricken there, if you're Adams, if he hits a deep enough fly ball or a ground ball up the middle somewhere, with Ricken's speed, he'll be able to score, with the Blues on the board. So a wild pitch from Caleb Reyes. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Ricken now at third. Strikeout spot now for the Cal Poly Pomona right-hander, and that's exactly what he does. Adams goes around with an outside breaking ball, and that's the first strikeout of the day for Reyes when he desperately needed one. 2 outs now in the second. So now Cody Darcy steps up, third baseman from Arkansas State. Last hope to try and knock in the run from third. Darcy a 167 average, 2 runs batted in so far in league play. Back on the lineup for another game for Dean Traynor after taking some time off, visiting home. Back in the order, playing third base for the second straight day. First pitch, and Darcy swings and misses atop the 2-seam fastball. No balls and 1 strike. So Ricken started the inning with a double. Since then, the pop out and the strikeout. Ricken at third, 2 away. Reyes stares at third, now brings it home, and Darcy takes a 2-seamer, this time on the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. So Darcy now has to recollect himself. Standing right in the middle of the box, back half of the right-hand batter's box. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner at third. Reyes bends, sets right at the belt, Stares at Ricken, brings it home, and Darcy shoots it foul right at the last second, caught a piece. Still no balls and 2 strikes. Reyes doesn't need a strikeout here, needs just any out to get out of this frame and keep the Blues off the board. The Blues only scored 1 run yesterday, trying to bring one across here in the second with Ricken and his speed at third. 0-2, 2 outs, pitch on the way, and Darcy checks his swing at a high fastball and did not go around 1-2. I don't think Darcy had any intention of checking his swing at that pitch, but it almost hit him in the face, and he had to spin out of the way, and the bats kind of spun with him as he fell to the ground. No swing, a 1-2 count. Third baseman from Arkansas State trying to come through for the Blues here in the second. Reyes has gotten 2 straight outs. Needs 1 more to get out of the inning. And that's exactly what he gets. Called strike 3 to Cody Darcy. A right perfect pitch on the outside corner. That's a second straight strikeout for Reyes to get out of the frame. We head to third. Still no score on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top of the third, Ryan Baum back out for the Blues. It's 8-9-1 in the Saints order. Hammonds, Alvarez, Connor Bradshaw. Starting with a shortstop from Tarleton State, Mason Hammonds. As Baum delivers, Hammonds takes a big curveball in the inside corner. No balls on 1 strike. Ryan Baum's first appearance, as we mentioned, in 20 days. Last pitched on June 24th. So plenty of rest for the Cal Poly arm. Working his third inning. 0-1. And Hammonds ropes a breaking ball down the left field line, a base hit, right past the dive of Darcy, the third baseman. And an 0-1 base hit, leadoff base runner here in the third for the Saints. Hammonds came into this game hitting .295. He's threatening to get above .300 with another base knock. And a runner with speed at first here in the third. Julian Alvarez, the 9-hole hitter, will step up. Alvarez, a center fielder from Cal Baptist, a 182 average, 6 runs batted in. We've got Hammonds at first, who's 5 of 5 on stolen base opportunities and already has a huge lead. Baum works from the stretch, picks to first. An unsuccessful attempt as Hammonds dives back in, dirtying up the road Navies. We saw the Saints be aggressive in yesterday's game, but a large amount of them have not been uber successful stealing bases this summer. There's a lot of caught stealings on the ledger for the Saints. Spear behind the dish, and he blocks this one up down low. 1 ball and no strikes. I think throwing out runners is something the Blues have been relatively good at so far this summer, so maybe not a recipe for success for the Saints here in this ball game. 1-0 count, runner at first. It's Hammonds with Alvarez at the dish. 1-0. That swung on and fouled straight back into the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike. Baum gave up the base runner last inning. It was the drop third strike to the second batter of the inning. Eventually, Baum worked around the runner eventually getting into scoring position. This time, a first hit for the Saints to open up the inning. Bomb sets. And a 1-1. Runner takes off, pitches in the dirt. A snap throw from Spear, and it gets by everybody and into center field. Hammonds maybe hurt himself sliding into second base. Picks up his 6th lead swipe of a bag. And Spear, I think on the pitch, really had no chance. But another runner in scoring position for the Saints, this time with nobody out. And now Alvarez a chance to move him over or bring him in with nobody out here in the third. Two balls, one strike. Ryan Baum comes set with Alvarez at the plate. 2-1 on the way. Alvarez chases the fastball up high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So a 2-2 count, strikeout spot for Baum. He's got 3 so far in this ball game. Only 2 of them outs. One reached on the drop third strike after back-to-back Ks to end the first. 2-2, Baum looks to second. Now a long hole, he brings it home. And Alvarez takes strike 3 called, and he knew it. Just starts walking back to the dugout, a fastball that paints the inside corner, and 1 away here in the third. So 4 Ks for Ryan Baum. Now back to the top of the order. It's Connor Bradshaw, the right fielder from Pepperdine. 0 for 1 with a fly out to left field to lead off the ball game. Bradshaw struck it pretty well. It ended up ranging Jariah Lewis all the way back in front of the warning track. Kind of a flick of the wrist from Bradshaw, showing off some effortless power, but he was retired on the first pitch of the ball game. Oh well. He swings first pitch again, cracks it on the ground to first. It bounces off the lid of Tollerman, and now he underhand flips to Baum. And the Saints know how many outs there are. As Hammonds ranged off the third base bag, pick goes back there, and he's able to slide in. Hammonds thought it was out number 3 and went to the Saints dugout, but the Blues didn't realize it quick enough. So just 2 outs the inning, runner at third. Hammonds getting an earful at third base. He advanced to third on the ground ball, and I think that when Baum touched first base, he thought it was out number 3. And luckily for the Saints, not picked off in time by the Blues. So here's Kite McDonald, left fielder from Wichita State. Struck out swinging his first time up. Runner at third, 2 outs as Baum looks there, now brings it home. And McDonald hits a little flare into right field. It falls for a base hit. McDonald picks up an RBI as Hammonds comes in to score. And luckily for the Saints, the error does not keep the run off the board. It's 1-0 Arroyo Seco as they get on the board here first. McDonald's 10th league run batted in, and Hammonds is lucky that he wasn't picked off third because the Saints come around to score. 1-0. Now still with 2 outs, more chances for Arroyo Seco. It's Jordan Rogers, the third baseman from Wichita State. First pitch to Rogers, and Rogers hits a line drive, 1 hop to Kate O'Hara, plays the hot shot and throws on to second for the out. The Saints get a run on the board, 2 hits in the inning, as Mason Hammonds comes in to score on the RBI single from Kite McDonald. So we head to the bottom of the third. Blues trail 1-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. 9-1-2 for the Blues here in the third, and it starts with Kate O'Hara, the shortstop from the University of Texas. O'Hara hitting 125 this summer for the Blues. First at bat in this ball game as the Blues now trail at 1-0. Reyes steals, and O'Hara lines it straight foul off the netting here at Sinsheimer Stadium. No balls and 1 strike. Another great crowd, and I feel like the ambiance here is a little louder today than normal. The hustle and the bustle, the conversations, filling up the bowl here behind home plate. Blues trying to score their first run. 0-1 the count on O'Hara, who takes outside with a slider. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. And we've seen some excellently attended games. One of the last times we were here when the Blues played on July 3rd, 2,466 fans, a record crowd. But this one, I feel like just the resting volume of this crowd is higher than most of the ones that we've heard this summer. 1-1. O'Hara takes the 2-seam inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Kate O'Hara, who was limited in his gameplay at Texas this past year, now getting some more at-bats for the Blues this summer. 24 ABs across 8 games played. 3 singles. He's also walked twice. 2-1. And O'Hara takes a fastball in the outer half. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Blues have 2 hits in this game, 1 in each inning. Ruley had a 2-out base knock in the first. JT Ricken led off the second with a double, but the Blues could not bring him in to score. 2-2 on the way, and O'Hara takes low with the slider. So Ricken eventually advanced to third with just 1 out in the inning, but then back-to-back Ks for Reyes. It was a strikeout spot in both scenarios, and he picked him up, kept the Blues off the board. Payoff pitch here to O'Hara. Here it comes. And O'Hara strikes out on the called strike 3. He checked his swing, and it didn't matter either way. A perfect 2-seamer on the outside corner. And just like that, 1 away here in the third. That 2-seamer has been just lethal so far for Caleb Reyes. It's almost a sinker of sorts, and when you're able to throw that on the outside corner, it makes it hard for a hitter because you give up on the pitch. You just completely think it's a fastball that's going to run right out of the zone, and it bends back at the last second. And back-to-back strikeouts across the last 2 innings for Caleb Reyes. Here's Nin Burns, the leadoff right fielder. He pops the first pitch up deep into shallow left field. It's the shortstop Hammonds who camps under it and ranges back to make the catch. 2 away. The Blues have hit a couple balls hard, especially the Ricken line drive down the right field line. But Reyes is comfortably pitching on the hill, just as we saw Carter Herrera, the starter, yesterday. Herrera just mowed down the Blues the first couple times through the order, and outside of the 2 hits, one by Ruley, one by Ricken, you feel like the starter Reyes just as comfortable out on the hill right now for the Arroyo Seco Saints. First pitch to Jariah Lewis is on the outside corner, another sinker, no balls and 1 strike. Lewis hit a deep fly ball to center his first time up, hit it nearly 100 miles an hour, but came up with nothing as the center fielder Alvarez was able to track it down right in front of the track. Lewis waits in the back of the left-hand batter's box, awaiting the 0-1. Here it is. He swings and lines it into center field, and this one falls for a base hit. So Lewis with back-to-back nice at-bats, good strokes to center field, picks up his first hit of the ball game, the Blues' third, and they've got a runner at first with 2 outs in the inning. You got speed on the base paths, too, for the Blues if they're trying to start a 2-out rally. Lewis, second in the CCL in stolen bases, 11 swipes on 14 attempts. And it's Jacob Ruley who hit a single in his first time up. So if the Blues can try and advance Lewis here on a stolen base, put himself in scoring position for one of the Blues' best hitters. Reyes set at the belt, comes home and spots up on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Ruley came into this game the highest batting average in the Blues order. And on a day like today, it's not the hugest deal. Ruley hitting 250. Everyone else in the lineup hitting below that. And the next highest is JT Ricken at 226. Pick goes to first, and it bounces completely past the first baseman Hammond. Jariah Lewis might have a chance at 3. He turns around second, and he's going to head for the third base bag. Throw from Gonzalez, the second baseman, is wide, and Lewis goes 180 feet. He's at third with 2 outs. The pitcher, Reyes, just completely bounced the pickoff move. It was almost like he was going for one, not trying to throw it as hard as he can, lobbed it over and missed very badly. And it got past Hammond. Lewis knew from the get-go that he was going to third, and he ends up there. An RBI opportunity now for Jacob Ruley, who's got 3 runs batted in this summer. Reyes looks to third, brings it home, and Ruley takes high. Blues trying to tie this ball game up here in the 3rd inning. A single run in the top half of this inning for the Saints on a couple of hits. The Blues here a chance with 2 outs to manufacture their own run. 1-1. Reyes comes home, and Ruley flies it foul down the right field line. Hit it well, but it hooks into the Blues bullpen. But talking about the Blues batting averages, they enter today with a team 200 average, which is right at the bottom of the CCL South. We had seen the Blues offense, a little bit of a comeback, but yesterday only the 3 hits and the 1 run. Trying to get on the board here, runner at third, 2 outs. Reyes comes set, glove held at his belt. 1-2 on the way, and Ruley takes low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lewis at third, he had a 2-out single, advanced 180 feet on a pickoff move error by the pitcher Reyes. Ruley, the road runner, trying to knock in the Blues' first run with Lewis at third. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count with 2 outs in the inning. Reyes steals. Ruley fights it foul again. He just will not strike out. 2 balls and 2 strikes. A 1-0 Saints lead. The Blues trying to even things up here in front of a nice home crowd. Beautiful day again here in San Luis Obispo. The deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Second baseman Jacob Ruley at the plate. Reyes comes set, stares right at Lewis at third, brings it home, and it's a 2-teamer that misses out. 3 balls and 2 strikes. He tried to freeze Lewis freeze Ruley just as he did Kate O'Hara, but missed a little wide. So now a full count, 2 outs. Ruley trying to reach for Matt Spear, who's on deck. Full count, 2 outs. RBI opportunity from Ruley. He brings it home, and Ruley hits it into right field on a line, but it hangs up right for the right fielder, Bradshaw. The Blues get a little unlucky, and they strand the 2-out hit at third. Through 3, it's 1-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top side of 4 here at Sinsheimer Stadium. It's 4-5-6 coming up for the Saints with a 1-0 lead. Meggers, Hammond, and Alec Jones, as I'm now joined by Nate Mills here in the booth. And Nate, game 2 of this series, the Saints on the board early yet again. First pitch to Meggers, who swings and misses. No balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, on the board early, but I think Ryan Baum is still looking pretty solid. Obviously not like what we saw in his last start with the Blues where he was just utterly dominating the offense, but still some solid stuff coming out of here.
Meggers takes the 0-1 fastball high. You've still got the 90-mile-an-hour velocity from Baum, and it's been 20 days since he's thrown for the Blues. So we weren't sure whether we were going to see him for the rest of the summer. It's good to have him back out.
Yeah, tending to that right shoulder. Good to see him healthy on the mound today.
Meggers takes that pitch right back to the backstop. 2-1 the count. The Saints got on the board in the top half of the third. A single from Mason Hammonds to lead off the inning. Eventually came around to score on an RBI single from Kite McDonald. And the Blues have had a runner at third in each of the last 2 innings, but haven't been able to bring him in either time. 2-1 the count on the DH from Oregon. And Meggers swings, laces it into right field, and it falls in front of the right fielder Burns for a base hit. Third hit of the last 2 innings for the Saints, and another leadoff base runner.
This is a fastball from Ryan Baum. Just not enough movement on it. A little low on the velocity, I think. Flat. Caught way too much of the plate, and Meggers can just put a nice, easy swing on it for a base hit into right.
And Meggers has been swinging a nice bat. Had a double, a single, a walk, and 2 stolen bases yesterday. And now he's 1 for 2. Leads it first with Jack Hammond coming up. Hammond was the first base runner for the Saints in this ball game. And it came, Nate, in a normally unconventional way, but not exactly to what we've seen this summer, a drop third strike.
We've seen it a few times at this very field, to be exact, where you'll see a drop third strike. I mean, it's kind of like how the Blues would manufacture their runs back in the day. I mean, I hope they're not falling back into those tendencies now. I hope they can swing the bat. But, yeah, certainly not a conventional way to get aboard for your first time in a game.
0-1 the count on the first baseman from Long Beach State as a pick goes to first, and Meggers stands up as he gets back to the bag. I feel like, and I can say it with confidence, I've seen more drop third strikes reach base in this season alone than I've seen watching baseball the rest of my life.
Yes.
At least at a level like past Little League baseball. 0-1. That's on the inside corner, no balls and 2 strikes. And that's really I'm not trying to talk down on any of the players. It's just randomness.
Yep.
There's really nothing that any team can do about it with the ways that it's happened.
Personified last night in the game where we saw randomness, as you said, maybe carrying over today. Not just on the drop third strike, but other things as well.
0-2, and he struck him out. Hammond strikes out for the second time, and this time he has to walk back to the dugout.
Well, Ryan Baum came inside with the fastball, maybe feeling some more confidence with that. Hammond really didn't like that call. But then Baum came with the slider. Hammond's way too out in front on it, swinging at it for strike 3.
So now with 1 out, that was a nice strikeout from Baum to respond to the single from Chase Meggers. Here's Alec Jones, the catcher from Cincinnati. Grounded out to third his first time up. He broke his bat. Could have maybe been a double play ball, but it was hit so soft that Cody Darcy had to go to first. A new piece of lumber now for Jones. Comes up with a runner at first and 1 out. Baum delivers, and Jones takes a slider just off the inside corner. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, we mentioned earlier on the broadcast, Jones an excellent season this past year at Cincinnati, but is now hitting just barely above 100 this summer. He's 6 for 50 for the Saints this year. 1-0. Jones ropes this one down the third base line, just foul by about a foot. The count evens at 1-1.
Starting to get his timing down on that fastball. Been behind it today, as you saw the jam shot back there in the second inning. And now he's ahead of this one as he fouls it down the left field line.
Maybe just trying not to break another bat.
Maybe. It's hard not to come up to the plate next time you're up after shattering a piece of lumber. Just don't break it, not again. Because now you're using someone else's bat.
That's an expensive day.
Most likely, yeah.
1-1 the count, 1 out runner at first. And a pick goes back there. I once had one travel ball tournament that I broke 3 bats in 1 game.
That's incredible.
One was mine, and I believe one was the team's, and one was someone else's.
That's a good friend right there. Good teammate.
Tough day. Well, they got a new bat out of it, so. 1-1 on the way, and Jones takes the slider low. I believe my parents weren't at that game. Like, they had to go somewhere, and I just remember being so scared to tell them, not only did I break my bat or the team bat, but we owe this guy a new bat.
Dollar bills flying everywhere that weekend.
2-1 the count on Alec Jones. Baum from the stretch comes home And Jones pops it up straight back over the press box and out of Sinsheimer Stadium. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You ever have anything like that?
I've had things like that. I'm not 3 in a weekend, in a day. I mean, never seen that. But certainly when you break one, then you have to turn the dugout. All right, who's going to be the guy to cough it up? There's always the one teammate coming in clutch.
Yep.
Shout out to those guys.
2-2. Pitch on the way. And Jones takes the curveball low. You know the best part about it? They were all hits. 3 hits
really?
on 3 broken
all died
bats.
heroes.
Yep.
So, I mean, you got that out of it.
An expensive 3-for-3 day. Full count now with 1 out. It's Meggers at first. Alec Jones the batter. As Baum comes set. He brings it home. Jones bounces on the ground. 1 hop to Rulli off the mound. Overhand flip to the shortstop O'Hara. Sling throw to first. A double play. So the Blues turn 2 to get out of the 4th as Ryan Baum picks up a pair of outs on 1 ground ball. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. It's still 1-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom 4 here from Sinsheimer Stadium. It's Matt Spear to lead things off. Blues go 4-5-6. Spear, Ricken, and Tollerman against Caleb Reyes, who has scattered a couple hits by the Blues, but he's done a great job bearing down late in innings. SLO has had a runner at third to end each of the last 2 frames, but no runs across. A 1-0 Saints lead here in Game 2.
And the clear pitch that's been allowing Reyes to get out of those situations is that 2-seam fastball. We've seen him go to it plenty of times. We've seen it right here, first pitch to Spear. But that's what's been getting him out of those counts and those situations.
Starts him off with a sink, no balls and 1 strike. I'm curious to see your perspective on how he comes set. It's an accordion-like movement, is what I was calling it earlier in the game. I feel like that's just the best way to summarize it. As Spear swings and misses at a slider, 0-2.
It's just one of those things, you know. If it works for you, all the power to you. Go ahead and do it. I mean, a guy that you can compare that to in the big league level, Craig Kimbrell, with the arm out there, the little bird chicken wing, it works for him.
0-2. Spear spoils it straight back and foul. I mean, every pitcher's got their little tick. Like, I'm sure other teams would roll in. They'd see Lucas Alanese going tap, 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 and they were wondering what was wrong with him. But every pitcher got their little thing.
As a hitter, you just adjust to it. It might take a few pitches, but you figure it out eventually.
I think it's funny that now the crowd has seen it for a couple innings, and they're kind of like building up, and then they go, hey, whenever he does it.
Love that.
Having a little fun. Reyes comes home. Spear bounces this on the ground. Long run for the third baseman, Rogers. He grabs behind the bag. Long throw, and Spear beats it out. A leadoff single for the Blues, and JT Ricken comes up, runner at first with nobody out.
Tough play for Rogers as he was shifted a little bit more towards second base. Had to run towards the line, make the throw across his body, and Spear is able to get there in time for the infield base hit.
So JT Ricken at the plate now. Ricken hit a nice double his first time up, and Nate, he was half the way to a triple. He was about as far as you can get to the third base bag before you decide to turn it around. Ended up not scoring. I wonder if he regrets not heading for third. Swings with the first pitch here, breaks his bat on a chopper towards second. Hammond, the underhand flip to second, throw back to first, and Ricken beats it out. So a fielder's choice as Matt Spear looked like he was hurt for a second, I think just fixing his pants around his knee. But a fielder's choice from Ricken, one out here in the fourth.
Was just going to say, Ricken has the speed to make that a triple. I honestly thought he had an opportunity to be standing on third or at least sliding in there safely. Didn't see what Coach Steve Tolley did at third, if he put up the stop sign or not. But that's a frustrating thing when you think you could have had an extra base hit. I had that at Towson my freshman year. Totally could have had a triple, and you stop at second just to play it safe.
Here the batter, Zach Tollerman, popped out to first on one pitch his first time up. And Ricken has the only league triple the Blues have. So, I mean, there's clear proof that he's got the speed to do it, and he hit it in the perfect spot to do it, right down the right field line into the corner.
We got numbers, too, on the database on that 60.
1-0. What was that number again?
6.4 was his best.
And remind me what the average is, or a good time.
Average, it's so hard to say. I'll say like Division I players, 6, 8, 7.
Wow. And what could you run now?
Right now?
Yeah.
Probably 7-1.
2-0. That wasn't necessary information. I just wanted you to say it because I figured it'd be a lower number. 3-0 the count on Zach Tollerman. Zach not afraid to draw a walk here. Put a runner in scoring position for the Blues. You've got Ricken with that excellent speed, better than Nate Mills at first. A 3-0 count with one out. Reyes comes set, buried in the shadows. Stares to third, a 3-0 on the way. It's right down the middle, and Tollerman bounces it. Running stop for the third baseman Rogers. He goes to second and gets the lead runner Ricken by a step. So Zach Tollerman swinging 3-0, bounces into a fielder's choice, and 2 outs here in the fourth.
Dog me for the speed, but I was the primary pinch runner at Towson. You can look that one up.
Yeah, I'm still surprised they put that online. I don't think it's quite the accomplishment that you believe it is.
I wish they would have put Strength and Conditioning Player of the Year, because I was that, and that's not on the page.
Should be.
Should be.
Maybe we'll put a spot for you on the Blues website. We'll carve out a little section at the bottom, and we'll put it there. Here's TJ Adams, another fielder's choice for the Blues. A runner still at first with 2 outs now. And Adams takes outside. A strikeout for the center fielder from Arizona his first time up. And that was a big at-bat for the Blues. Runner at third, less than 2 outs. And Adams on a 3-2 pitch, chased out of the zone and struck out. Reyes trying to work around yet another hit for the Blues. 1-0. And a swing and a miss by Adams. Couldn't, I don't think, decide whether he wanted to go around, and did about a half swing.
Yeah, and that looked really uncomfortable. You can see him shaking that right hand. Hopefully he's okay. Saw a similar injury in the big leagues with Mike Trout. And remind me the name of that bone?
The hamate bone,
the
which
hamate
is
bone.
The most unnecessary bone in a hand, and you could argue maybe in the entire human body, especially for athletes. It can only be bad. As Adams swings at this one, fouls it out of play. It has no use to you in your hand, but if it breaks, which happens in baseball a lot on swings, you're out 6 to 8 weeks. And if you don't get surgery, then you risk it getting even worse.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've said people get surgery to prevent it. They remove it before you can even break it.
Yeah, in the offseason, people will get it removed so that they never can break it because you don't lose anything without it. 1-2 to Adams, and that's outside. A wicked breaking ball out of the other batter's box, so 2-2. And, of course, we hope that's not what happened to TJ there, but you're right, on those check swings where you try and hold back at the last second and you are using the strength of your hand to try and stop the bat, that's sometimes when it can fracture.
It's one of those freak things, but luckily it looks like TJ's having an easy time holding the bat. Seems to recover from that.
Reyes steps off, fakes a throw to first. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Zach Tollerman, the runner at first. 1-0 Saints lead here in the fourth. Crowd continues to get into the Reyes accordion squat as he prepares for a 2-2. Here it is, and Adams takes outside again. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So the crowd murmur started a couple innings ago. It was low, and now the entire crowd is doing it.
I'm very curious to see how long it holds up.
We'll see how long Reyes goes. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Crowd might lose their voice. Runner takes off. The pitch is low, and it's a walk for TJ Adams and a runner in scoring position for the Blues.
Good at bat, especially with 2 outs for Adams. Blues really need to get something cooking going into the middle of this game. They're starting to resort back to their struggles with runners in scoring position. So hopefully for Cody Darcy, he can correct that with this at bat.
Coach Aaron Milam heading out to the mound. There was an arm warming up in the pen for the Saints. We'll see if this is the end of the day. For Caleb Reyes, it would be the end of the day for the Chants. As Aaron Milam right at the mound to talk to his right-hander. Reyes has given up a couple of hits in this ball game. 3 total, 1 in each of the last 3 innings. Or make it 4, 1 in each of the 4 innings. But he's done a really good job battling around that. He's got some runners in scoring position, but he's always gotten out of the inning across the first 3 frames.
Like I've said, that pitch has been the 2-seam fastball, but all of a sudden Reyes having trouble spotting it up, especially in that bat against TJ Adams.
So Reyes gets to stay into the game. The fans will get to continue their chant. It'll be Cody Darcy to try and bring in a run. Darcy struck out looking with a runner at third and 2 outs to end the second inning. He got that 2-seam fastball that's frozen the Blues, and I really didn't know what to do with it and immediately started walking back to the dugout. It was just a perfect pitch by Caleb Reyes. Fans stay into it. Runners at first and second, 2 outs here in the 4th. Reyes delivers, and Darcy swings and misses at the 2-seamer. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count, 2 outs. It's Zach Tollerman at second. With decent speed for the first baseman. And you've got great speed at first in TJ Adams. Reyes looking to K. Darcy for a second time, 0-1. As the Cal Poly Pomona right-hander comes home, and Darcy bounces it on the ground, third base side and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes.
Just a little out in front on that breaking ball. Cody Darcy is just wanting to straighten that out, especially with 2 strikes. Shoring up here.
Third baseman from Arkansas State came into this game batting 167 with 2 runs batted in. Chance to knock in the tying run here in the 4th. 0-2 the count as now Reyes will step off. He just kind of flicks his hand right at second base as a fake pickoff move. Now he gets his sign, comes set, glove held at his belt. He stares to third. A look at second. A second look. He brings it home, and Darcy pops it in the air. Right side, in foul territory. The first baseman Hammond is over, and it bounces just over the fencing into the Blues bullpen. So still no balls and 2 strikes.
Barely out of play is that foul ball. I feel like if the fence was a little shorter, Hammond might have had a play on it. But it's just a little too tall, ends up in the bullpen. It's a slider Cody Darcy got right there, and that barrel path coming just a little too underneath it.
Still 0-2 on the third baseman from Arkansas State. Darcy, the second-year Blue, trying to come through, put the Blues on the board here in the 4th. 0-2, 2 outs, 2 runners aboard. Reyes sets and delivers and misses outside with a slider. 1-2 the count. Reyes has 3 strikeouts so far. They came in a sequence, 2 in a row to end the second, and then he started off O'Hara with a strikeout in the 3rd. No case since. 1-2. Darcy trying to put something in play, cause a little chaos here in the 4th inning. 1-2 on the way. Darcy strikes out swinging. Back-to-back Ks for the third baseman from Arkansas State. And another strikeout for Reyes, his 5th of the day through 4. Gets him through a scoreless 4th inning. We head to the 5th. It's still 1-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom third of the order here in the top of the 5th inning. It's Gonzalez, Hammonds, and Alvarez against Ryan Baum, who sticks out on the mound for the Blues. 1-0 the score here at Sinsheimer Stadium. As Baum kicks and fires, Gonzalez shows bunt and takes a ball off the plate. So Baum going further than we've seen him so far this summer. His first start and only appearance coming into this ball game was a 4-inning start, his first time out. 1-0 is tapped up the middle, a range behind the bag for O'Hara, spin, throw, and it's a little wide. Took Tollerman off the bag by just about an inch, but that would have been an epic play from O'Hara. Instead, it's a leadoff single for Gonzalez, the 3rd straight inning that the Saints have led off the inning with a base hit.
Great effort by the Texas shortstop. Like I've said before in the past broadcasts, the flexibility of Cade O'Hara is something I like to point out every time he plays defense. The way he can mend his body to making the spin and throwing the sidearm laser to Tollerman is great, but just not in time.
Well, Gonzalez has a lot of speed, too. Second baseman speed coming out of the left-hand batter's box. It would have been hard for O'Hara to turn that one. Hammonds now at the plate, a single and a run scored his first time up. As he shows bunt, takes a pitch out of the glove of Spear, but it's a strike, 0-1. And O'Hara's been so good defensively that it was weird to see him make a couple of off plays yesterday. Had an error on a ground ball, made a weird flip to DiCarlo in the first inning. And the Blues defense, one of the big reasons that they gave up 13 runs in yesterday's game.
Talking about the randomness of yesterday earlier in this game, there's one of the examples right there.
0-1. Hammond shows bunt again. Now he lays it down right in front of the mound. Baum off the hill, and he throws to first in time for the out. So a sacrifice for the Saints. Moving up to second is Gonzalez, one out here in the 5th.
Good bunt there by Hammonds. If I'm the Arroyo Seco Saints, I'm wanting it just a little more up the line. When you want to do a bunt like that, you don't want to bunt it directly back to the pitcher. You want it down one of the lines, but Hammonds gets the job done nonetheless.
Blues have activity in the bullpen. It's A.J. Moreno, the Cal Poly Pomona right-hander, who's getting loose, and it looks like he's just about ready to go into this game. So we'll see what the leash is like on Ryan Baum. This is the 9-hole hitter, Julian Alvarez, who struck out looking back in this 3rd inning. A runner at second, that's Gonzalez. As Baum looks back there, he brings it home and pitches well wide. 1 ball and no strikes. Moreno a couple crow hops, so maybe he's just getting started warming up. Could be an option for the Blues in the 6th, or if Baum runs into some trouble here in this inning. 1-0 with Baum on the hill. Gonzalez runs at second. O'Hara there holding him on. A look from Baum, and now a pick back to second. It's low, and a nice scoop out by O'Hara, and he might have saved 90 feet. 1-0, 1 out, top 5. 1-0 our score here at Sinsheimer Stadium. Another great crowd on hand. Beautiful day for baseball. The shadows continue to roll in between home plate and the mound. 1-0. Alvarez ropes it down the right field line, and it's just foul. That ball was absolutely destroyed.
It was touched, but just hooking a little too much down the right field line. Just a little out in front on it. Baum needed to make some better pitches here to avoid some more hard contact just like that.
95 miles an hour off the bat, and Alvarez just couldn't keep it fair. So a 1-1 count. 1 out here in the 5th. Baum looks back. Gonzalez now brings it home. Alvarez pokes it into center. This is going to fall for a base hit. TJ Adams plays the short hop. His throw comes in, cut off by Tollerman. And stopping at third is Gonzalez. Runners at the corners with 1 out on the base hit from Julian Alvarez.
Not sure if O'Hara had any trouble seeing that ball. He saw the hands throw up in front of his face. But now we got a little rundown happening here. Alvarez was maybe trying to take second. No one was over there at first. Tollerman was standing right behind the mound.
Oh, yeah, Tollerman was the one that cut off the ball, and of course then there's no one at first because the second baseman, Rulli, was there as a potential, some guy that had to be at second base. But then the Blues would have had 2 guys at second. So you always wonder in those scenarios, where is everyone supposed to go? But Julian Alvarez returns back to the first base bag. Now back to the top of the order, Connor Bradshaw. This is a steal opportunity, 2 for the Saints with Alvarez at first. 2 for 4 so far this summer on stolen base attempts. Pitch to Bradshaw, and Bradshaw checks his swing as he tries to bend out of the way of the fastball. No balls and one strike. One of those scenarios where I think Bradshaw was trying to spin to get out of the way, and he just completely swung.
Your momentum taking you that way. We saw a turning away from a pitch last night, and it hit the knob. I'm pretty sure it was Alvarez. Sometimes the spin just puts you in some interesting positions.
0-1. Baum looking for a strikeout or a double play as he tries to pick off first. And back in there is Alvarez. Baum got a double play to end the last frame. 4-6-3. Went off the mound right to Rulli, and the Blues turned 2. Here with Bradshaw at the plate, who's 0 for 2. Another chance to get out of the frame.
He made Bradshaw ground out in his last at-bat in the third.
0-1. Bradshaw takes outside. 1-1 the count. You've got Gonzalez at third, led off the inning with a single. And Julian Alvarez, who came into this game hitting 182 with a single. So 2 hits in the frame, first and third. Just 1 out. That was on a sac bunt. Baum comes set. Stares in, now picks to first. And a high throw, tag applied by Tollerman, but not in time to get Alvarez. Saints already lead it by 1. A chance to add on to that 1-run lead here in the 5th. Brutal shadows right now between home plate and the mound as Bradshaw checks his swing again at a high fastball, and he did not go around. Everyone on the Blues infield thought that was strike 2, but instead it's a 2-1 count.
And me in the press box, I disagree as well.
It did look close from here, probably right in that 50-50 zone, a tough one to call. But this time Connor Bradshaw gets the benefit of the doubt. So 2-1 count, 2 runners aboard. Baum from the stretch. Kicks and deals. Runner takes off. The pitch is popped up straight back, falling right in front of the press box. 2 balls and 2 strikes. A ricochet. It's down the stairs right behind home plate, and the kids scurried for it, and someone came up with it. A girl in a leopard skin, I don't know what you would call that, long sleeve set. Foul ball souvenir for a fan here at Sinsheimer Stadium. That was a good defensive play by her, too, to secure the ball. The Blues trying to work on defense here. 1 out, 2-2 count. Pitch on the way. Bradshaw takes high, and Spear, I think, thought that Alvarez would run again, but the count moves full.
Alvarez taking a large secondary over there at first. Had a deked Spear back there behind the plate.
Now you might see Alvarez take off. 3-2 the count. Baum got to come in the zone. Runner goes, payoff on the way. Bradshaw fights it foul again, so the count's still full.
Alvarez got another great jump taking off on that stolen base attempt, but once again, it's Connor Bradshaw fouling it off.
We mentioned Alvarez has stolen 50% of the bags he's attempted to take, 2 for 4. He's got good speed. I mean, he's played center field in every game the Blues have played the Saints this year. 3-2. Runners at the corners, 1 out. Already a 1-0 lead for the Saints. Baum comes set, brings it home. Alvarez doesn't run, and Bradshaw fights it foul again. And Bradshaw wants catcher's interference. He's walking to first and was pointing at Matt Spear, and no call. I'm not sure the umpire saw it.
Didn't look like it.
Everyone focused on where the foul ball pop-up was going. No catcher's interference, still a 3-2 count with 1 out. And we'll see now if Alvarez takes off again. He does. Here's the payoff. Bradshaw bounces it on the ground. Rulli has to back up and play it to first. So a run comes in to score, an RBI, and a nice at-bat for Bradshaw. It's 2-0 here with 2 outs in the 5th.
Bradshaw battling with all the mixes that Ryan Baum threw at him. He was fouling them off, but eventually straightened it out, tapped it over to Rulli, and the Saints will trade an out for a run.
And with Alvarez running, no chance for a double play for the Blues, but that would have been tailor-made. So a nice hit and run for Arroyo Seco. And now with 2 outs, a 2-run lead for the Saints. And here's Kite McDonald, who's 1 for 2 with a single. Alvarez now the runner at second as Ryan Baum steps off. McDonald, the left fielder from Wichita State, another opportunity for the Saints to not get a run. Baum comes set. Glove held at his belt. A look at second. First pitch to McDonald. And McDonald takes a breaking ball low. 1 ball and no strikes. That was a really nice at-bat from Bradshaw. And, even in a game that is like this where it has been low scoring, the Saints already with a lead. That's an important run.
It also wears out your pitcher as well for the Blues.
1-0. McDonald swings, pops it up. Sky high on the infield as it ranges back into foul territory, and the catcher, Matt Spear, collects out number 3, but not before the Saints add a run. It's 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the 5th on the SLO Blues streaming network. Cato O'Hara to lead things off here for the Blues in the bottom of the 5th. And after we saw Caleb Reyes work his way out of another jam last inning, he stays on the hill for the Saints. He now has a 2-run lead as he squats before the fans can react and steers in at the Texas shortstop. Pitch on the way, and O'Hara shoots it foul the other way. No balls and 1 strike.
I honestly did not anticipate the length that Caleb Reyes has gone through today. He's a high-intensity, high-effort guy. Typically, you see those guys exit after, let's say, 4 innings, but he's rolling in there into the bottom of the 5th.
Well, he's been great. Hasn't allowed a run yet. And he deals a 0-1 changeup a little high, 1 ball and 1 strike. O'Hara came into this game hitting 125 with 2 walks. He struck out looking to start the 3rd inning. 1-1. O'Hara shoots it into right field. Hit bounces right in front of the right fielder Bradshaw. So a hit for the Texas shortstop. Runner aboard with nobody out. And the tying run will come to the plate here in the 5th.
That's what the Blues have done today. They've been collecting hits. Good to see that. Now, like we've said before, next step, bringing those hits across the plate.
Now, you watched from the dugout for a couple innings. You've seen up here for a couple innings now. Is there something different that you see from the team today than we saw in Conejo when the Blues were really getting the hits in scoring position?
It does seem they're still sticking to the plan of swinging at strikes and taking out balls. I feel like they've had a lot more competitive at-bats, especially today, compared to yesterday.
Oh, and Burns rolls this one on the ground. Could be 2. Hammond's overhand flip to second. It's a little wide, but it keeps Gonzalez on the bag. So no double play as the throw was a little wide from Hammonds, but another fielder's choice for the Blues. First pitch and the out, and it feels like the Blues have been doing that a lot today.
Yeah, they have been doing that. That was going to be my next point. Followed up with striking out, ending the inning. I feel like the strikeout numbers are racking up a bit for San Luis Obispo. You got to battle, but then win those battles.
The Blues got a leadoff base hit last inning, and then back-to-back fielder's choice. Both happened early in counts, and we've seen the Blues at different points this summer attack early in counts. In Conejo, ended up in hits. Today, it's not the same. 0-0 from Reyes, and Jariah Lewis hammers it out to deep center. Ranging over to his left is Alvarez. 1 pitch, 1 out, and Lewis is retired, 2 away here in the 5th.
Lewis trying to get after it today. We saw that bomb out there in the first inning. Heard him talking in the dugout. Caught it right in front of the warning track was Alvarez. Said in the dugout, that's all he had. I don't know if I believe that, but that's what he said. He's been lifting the ball today, and we know he has power.
Like, that's all he had, and that's as far as I can hit it?
Yep.
He hit that one, 359 feet. He hit the 422-foot homer in Thousand Oaks. So I struggled to believe that's all he's got.
I know. Maybe just being humble.
Here's Jacob Ruley, the second baseman from Cal State Bakersfield. Got to be taking here after 2 first-pitch outs. He swings and bounces it right back up the middle. In front of the bag, the shortstop Hammonds, the long throw, and they got him at first. 3 pitches and 3 outs after the leadoff single, and the Blues go quietly in the 5th. A quick half inning for the Blues. We head to the 6th. It's still 2-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. We welcome you back to Sinsheimer Stadium, and we've got good news. A fan put a tennis ball in the bucket. So for the second time this season, a lucky fan has won a pair of season tickets to the Blues season. This one was more of a nonchalant make. The first time, Nate, the fan made it in on the fly. This one a little bit of a bouncer. I'm not even sure the fans really realized it until the number was called out.
It went quietly because it came in just like all the other tennis balls came in. It was one of those things where you really noticed if you were paying hyper attention to the bucket. I think the first one we saw was a straight shot, which the physics on that I did not think were possible with the tennis ball and the hard surface on the bucket.
Well, yeah, the first time it almost knocked the bucket over, so the fans really had no other choice but to see it. This time snuck in, but still season tickets nonetheless. A.J. Moreno into this ball game for the Blues and a 2-0 Saints lead.
Yeah, he's coming in. He's got the hot hand coming out of the bullpen. Been incredible across his last 2 relief appearances and 14 innings pitched. Just 1 earned run, 12 strikeouts, just 3 walks as well.
1-0 fastballs outside, so a quick 2-0 count. It's Jordan Rogers, a 3-hole hitter to lead things off. Rogers, Meggers, Hammond here with a 2-0 lead in the top of the 6th for the Saints. Sun setting down the right field line. It's causing some shadows across the entire infield. 2-0, and Rogers nubs it foul. 2 balls and 1 strike. I think this is the hardest time to be a position player out there.
Yes. The shadows creeping in. It's kind of hard to judge where you should stand if you're in the infield, and later we're going to see in the outfield.
Moreno deals 2-1. Rogers hits a towering shot to center. Smoked over the head of Adams, and it bounces 1 hop over the wall. It's a ground rule double, the 4th consecutive inning with a leadoff base hit for the Saints, and Rogers in scoring position with nobody out.
Jordan Rogers cooking the fastball mistake down the middle of the plate. A lot of backspin on that ball, as you can see it. 1 hop over the fence for the ground rule double. But yeah, Jack, this one's crushed in the left center field gap. Adams just couldn't get there, even with his incredible speed. 95 miles an hour on the exit velocity.
Ball was crushed, and as we mentioned, that's 4 straight innings, Nate, where the Saints have started the inning with a base hit. And this is exactly what we saw for them yesterday. Lots of base runners, lots of runners into scoring position. The Blues really haven't had a stress-free inning since the first, when Ryan Baum went 1-2-3.
You would think the score would be a lot higher with that statistic in mind. Getting on base with it via a single or now an extra base hit every inning you would think indicate a much higher score. But Blues defense and pitching doing a good job holding them down to just 2 runs.
All things told, a pretty good day for Ryan Baum in his second appearance. 5 innings, 2 earned runs. Chase Meggers, the DH from Oregon, 1 for 2, and he's plunked. Slider catches him on the front hip. And now runners at first and second with nobody out.
Just a complete honest mistake from A.J. Moreno. Snapping the wrist way too far out in front on his delivery as the right arm is pointing towards home plate. Just releasing it way too late. He knew immediately coming out of the hand that was headed right toward the hip of Meggers. But that's not a great hit by pitch right there. 2 runners on now.
A double and a hit batsman. First and second, Jack Hammond coming up. The first baseman from Long Beach State has struck out twice. One time he reached base, the other time he was retired. He's 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. Blues play the corners in, middle back, as Hammond swings and uncorks high and deep to left field, but not quite deep enough. It's Jariah Lewis who camps under it, makes the catch with a mint glove. Both runners bluff as if they're going to tag, but they stay at their spots. So 1 pitch, 1 out to Jack Hammond.
Jack Hammond was inches, I'm not even going to say inches, centimeters away from really getting a hold of that hung slider. Just a little underneath, popped up, towering to Jariah Lewis. That could have been bad, just a few centimeters more on top of the baseball.
I think that was the highest ball that we've seen hit.
Yes.
At Sinsheimer Stadium this year. With 1 out, here's Alec Jones, the catcher from Cincinnati. Jones, a tough day at the plate so far. He's 0 for 2, a ground out for the second out in the second inning, and then grounded out into a double play to end the 4th. The Baum ended with the 5 strikeouts. We mentioned the 2 earned runs, only 4 hits, but exits the game in line for a loss unless the Blues can come back and win. This is outside. 1 ball and no strikes to Alec Jones, the catcher from Cincinnati.
Strikeout would be nice here. Jones has got 14 on the year in league play, but if you want to be more productive, you want to get that ground ball, flip 2 with a runner on first base.
Oh, well, if you're choosing between a strikeout and a double play.
Yes.
Easier said than done, but Jones did roll into one his last time up. 1-0, here's the pitch. And Jones takes a little bit low. 2 balls and no strikes. A.J. Moreno, as I think consistently, from first appearance to most recent appearance, been one of the Blues' best starters / relievers. We've seen him in both roles, and he's just been excellent whenever Dean Trainers put him out there. Every time he comes in, he gives the Blues some bulk innings, and it's always quality. 2-0, runner takes off for third, a great jump, and Jones spoils it foul. 2-0. Someone missed a sign. Aaron Milam, the third base coach, is upset, and he could be because the runner at second base, Rogers, had third base completely stolen, and Jones didn't need a swing, but he fouled it off.
Maybe looking over at Meggers at first base, too. Maybe wanted to put on a double steal as well. Didn't really have that big of a secondary.
When a runner has a bag stolen, you don't have to swing. You're supposed to take. As now Moreno steps off, checks to second. A good move with how far Rogers was off the bag. Rogers doesn't have a stolen base so far this summer, but that was such a good jump as he took off for third.
Yeah, especially if you're getting a pitch you don't absolutely love. You see your fellow teammate got a base stolen by a mile.
2-1. Jones swings and misses right back into the glove of Spear. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
There's the slider. That's the out pitch for A.J. Moreno. Been consistent throughout the whole year, Jack. You just mentioned the consistency. He's very reliant out of the bullpen, especially when he's mixing the fastball and the slider well.
2-2 the count. Strikeout spot for Moreno, and Jones calls time.
Looking like we're getting a pretty decent-sized crater there in that right-handed batter.
Blues play the middle infield at double play depth. Corners back, especially the first baseman Tollerman, who's also off the line. 2-2 on the way. Jones strikes out swinging. First K for Moreno. 2 outs now in the 6th.
Yeah, he goes back to the slider. Working so far. Alec Jones way out in front of it. Completely whiffs at it. That's the pitch that's going to work for A.J. Moreno tonight.
So now it's up to Roberto Gonzalez, the second baseman from CSUN. Gonzalez had a nice at-bat his last time up. Started the 5th inning with a single. Eventually came around to score the second run. RBI opportunity with 2 runners aboard. It's Rogers at second, Meggers at first. 2 away now for Moreno. Needs just 1 more to get out of it in his first frame. He deals. Gonzalez chases the changeup. No balls and 1 strike. And when Moreno's on, you're going to see the fastball, the slider, and then that changeup. That's that third pitch that he'll work in there when he's really feeling it. 0-1. Gonzalez takes the changeup low this time. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Moreno trying to get the feel for the changeup. He wants all those pitches to be working. It's like the Thanos gauntlet. That's the last stone on the glove. I'm not an Avengers guy. I'm trying my best.
No, you nailed that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's the name?
Yeah. 1-1 the count. 2 runners aboard. A pick goes to second, and they got him. Jordan Rogers arguing the call at second, but he's picked off by Moreno to end the 6th. That's the 3rd out in the frame, and Rogers continues to argue. He's got to be careful. After 6 Saints were tossed yesterday, Rogers doesn't want to join the group. But Moreno, a nice move. He gets out of the 6th inning. As we head to the bottom half of the frame, it's 2-0 still on the Slow Blues streaming network. Bottom of the 6th, and the Blues trail at 2-0, and we've got an ace reliever coming into this game. It's Jacob Henderson, the 6', 185-pound right-hander from Iowa. Nate, 7 innings for Henderson. Hasn't allowed a run, also hasn't allowed a hit.
Yeah, the Saints are really just wanting to put this one away here, putting in their best arm from the bullpen into this game.
Lefty Spear to lead things off, and a first pitch fastball is in there. We were told by the broadcasting crew for the Arroyo Seco Saints that the only base runner that Henderson has allowed this year was a catcher's interference. Just a dominant 7 frames so far for the Hawkeye across 4 games pitched. 0-1. Spear bounces this one right back to the pitcher. And he's going to run all the way. Spear has given up, and now he'll walk back to the dugout.
Not a good look. 1
out. I don't know if Spear thought that hit his foot, but he didn't even try and argue it. He just jogged a little bit and then gave up.
Steve Tolley walking over, yelling at the dugout. Rightfully so. I mean, if he thought it hit his foot, I would get it a little more, but
there's no excuse. Sure. If you think it hit your foot, you argue. But I've never seen he didn't even make it to that second part of the line. A nasty stuff for Jacob Henderson. Now he looks in at JT Ricken, and Ricken takes a slider high. 1 ball and no strikes. Ricken has doubled in this game, was stranded at 3rd, and hit into a fielder's choice in the 4th. The randomness continues. 1-0. Ricken bounces this one. This definitely hit Ricken's foot, as you could tell that he was wincing in pain right as he hit it. 1-1 the count. I think that was what was missing when Spear hit the ball. He didn't come up hobbling. He didn't jump up because it hit his foot. It just went right back to the pitcher.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was thinking there. I mean, if it was just giving up, not a great look. But maybe he didn't know where the ball went.
It could be.
He was looking down the line.
When you hit it straight down, too, half the time it goes backwards.
Right.
1-1 count here on Ricken. Takes a fastball right on the outside corner. It's almost a half submarine delivery from Henderson. He's ahead in the count, 1-2.
We're seeing that 3/4 delivery, and the cut is evident on that fastball. Almost looks like a slider to Ricken.
1-2. Henderson delivers, and Ricken takes the breaking ball outside, 2-2.
Now, there is the slider, and once again, it's another sweeper. It's going to be extra dramatic with that arm angle. A lot more sweeping action than what you see coming down on top of the ball.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Blues still not yet on the board. Henderson comes home, and Ricken strikes out swinging. So the first strikeout from Henderson, and through 2 batters, he's living up to the stats.
We're beginning to see the nasty stuff coming out of Henderson. And, yeah, Jack, it's starting to make sense why he's been so dominant out of the bullpen, just making some great pitches to the Blues hitters so far.
Oh, the Arroyo Seco righty just continues to be flawless through 2 batters. Ground out right back to him, which is one of the more dominant things I think you could do as a pitcher, is just get a guy to hit it so softly right back at you, and the strikeout. So here's Zach Tullerman, who takes a breaking ball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Now, we've seen some nasty stuff. We've seen some great stats. We've seen nothing of the sorts of 7 innings, no runs, no hits, and not a walk. I mean, almost throwing a perfect game, as this time Tullerman flares it right to the second baseman, Gonzalez, for the final out. A nice frame from Henderson, who continues his dominance. 8 perfect innings now for the right-hander. And we head to the 7th. It's 2-0 still on the SLO Blues streaming network. 2/3 of the way through this ball game, it's still 2-0 Saints. As Moreno stays out, he'll face the bottom third of this order. It's Gonzalez, Hammonds, and Alvarez, starting with Roberto Gonzalez, the second baseman from CSUN. Gonzalez was at the plate when the runner was picked off at second to end the sixth. And here he starts the frame, another base hit. 5 straight innings with a base hit to lead off the frame. And another runner on base for the Saints. I've never seen anything like this.
No, this is a sign of a healthy offense right here. The Arroyo Seco Saints been on the schneid. We talked about last night, they're losing 6 of their last 8, but now they're rolling into their series with the Blues with the bats hot. They're swinging early and often.
It's almost like whoever comes up to lead off an inning is like, oh, well, I'm the one that has to get the hit, so I'll go do it.
And you'd think as a hitter, it depends on who's up there, thinking too much about that, going, I got to be the next guy to lead off the inning with a hit. But they don't seem to be too worried about that.
Squared a bunt by Mason Hammonds, but he pulls it back on a ball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. So Gonzalez, his last 2 times up, both leading off an inning with base hits. But also you just look at other parts of the order, and it's not like it's the same guy doing it every time. This is now, I think it's 4 different guys in the last 5 innings that have all kind of picked up the helm leading off. Moreno from the stretch picks to first, and Gonzalez back in there with ease. Blues had a tough game yesterday, 13-1 the loss. We mentioned earlier the 13 runs given up by the Blues, the most they've given up in any game this summer, and the offense only mustered the 1 run. Today the pitching's been better, the offense has been a lot of the same, as Hammonds pops this one up foul. 1-1 the count.
This one not out of reach for San Luis Obispo. Entering the final third of the game, you're only down by 2 runs. Still got a shot for sure.
Well, yesterday, yeah, the offense was struggling, and it's not that kind of game where you're like, okay, well, if the offense picks it up, we can win, because by the 6th inning, it was 12-1. Today, we're in the 7th, it's still only 2-0, so that's just 1 crooked number away for the Blues. Moreno trying to keep it close, and another pick to first as he tries to keep Gonzalez close, and dirtying up that Navy uniform. 1-1 the count still on the batter, Mason Hammonds. Hammonds is 1 for 1. A singled and scored in the 3rd, a sacrifice bunt in the 5th. Moreno a deep breath, he brings it home. Runner takes off, a swing and a miss. Here's the throw from Spear, and Rulli, I think he dropped it. So a stolen base for Roberto Gonzalez. That's his 3rd of the summer in league play, and the Blues can't quite catch him stealing. 2-1 the count, and a runner at second.
Big bummer for the Blues defense that Rulli couldn't come down with that one as he dusts off the dirt from his glove. That was a great throw by Matt Spear. Perfect placement on that ball. It looks like stealing the bag at second, Gonzalez might have disrupted Rulli coming down with that baseball.
So another runner in scoring position, a 1-2 count. Moreno deals. Hammond strikes out swinging. So a nice pitch from Moreno. That's a big strikeout for the first out in the 7th. But after all that we talked about yesterday, Nate, about how often the Saints were able to get runners in scoring position, that has carried over from Pasadena here to SLO.
Yeah, good job coming back after that stolen base and after that base hit to get the K. Now hopefully that can spark something up here for Moreno. Strand Gonzalez over there at second base.
Here's Julian Alvarez. Alvarez picked up an RBI single his last time up. Struck out looking back in his first at-bat. Runner at second. First pitch to Alvarez is a little off or right on the outside corner. A wide strike for A.J. Moreno, 0-1.
Alvarez not agreeing with that one. Taking a while to get back in the box.
Lefty taking his time. Center fielder from Cal Baptist. 7 runs batted in now on the summer, raising the average up to 200. A 1. And Alvarez takes a little low. 1 ball and 1 strike. In 5 of now the 7 innings that the Saints have been out on offense, they've had at least 1 runner reach scoring position.
Saw that yesterday, too. A lot more frequently, though.
Yesterday it was almost every inning.
Yeah.
Through all 9. 1-1 the count. 1 away. It's Gonzalez, the runner at second. Alvarez, the 9-hole hitter at the plate. Here's the offering from Moreno, and it's in the dirt. A nice block by Spear, 2-1.
That's kind of the silver lining for this game, too, right? It hasn't happened as much as it did yesterday. I mean, we saw with the 12 runs. They're getting runners. They're starting innings off with base hits, getting runners on second base, and the Blues still only holding the Saints to 2 runs, giving the offense a shot.
A little silver lining here from Sinsheimer Stadium, but the Blues still want to win this ball game. It's only 2-0. 2-1 on the way. It's low. So 3 balls and 1 strike.
Outfield shading Oppo to Alvarez, left-handed hitter. You see Adams and Lewis playing a bit toward the left field line.
3 balls, 1 strike on the 9-hole hitter. Leadoff bat of Connor Bradshaw stands on deck. Moreno bent at the waist, now comes set. Glove held just above his Navy belt. 3-1. Alvarez fouls it away down the left field line. The count moves full.
Defense is ready for that way. And a flare foul, as I talked about in the shading. Take a look at Nin Burns over there in right field. Looking like he's playing a normal right field, but awfully deep. So also prepared for that pull side on Alvarez.
Alvarez did hit a 95-mile-an-hour deep fly ball foul on the right field line his last time up, so that might still be in the back of the Blues' minds. 3-2. Moreno deals the payoff, and Alvarez takes way inside. It's a walk for the 9-hole hitter, who's reached his last 2 times up, first and second with 1 out.
Well, you had first base open. Now you fill it up with Alvarez. You do have 1 out. And now if you're A.J. Moreno, you're hoping you can force a ground ball here, flip a little DP, get out of the inning.
Bradshaw has grounded out his last 2 times up, so if Moreno can continue that trend, Blues might have a chance to turn 2, get out of the inning. They've turned 1 double play so far in this game. That was back to end the 4th. But you've got speed at both bases, second and first. Gonzalez, the runner at second, Alvarez, the runner at first base. And Bradshaw came into this game hitting .318 with 8 runs batted in, but he's 0 for 3. First pitch, and Bradshaw bounces it down the first base line. It's a fair ball. Around second, coming in to score Gonzalez, heading to third and getting the wave is Alvarez. Now the stop sign as the throw comes in home. It's an RBI double for Bradshaw, and it's 3-0.
Bradshaw was ready, first pitch. Another fastball mistake for A.J. Moreno. This one's perfectly placed down the line, just out of the reach of Zach Tollerman. Good relay by Nin Burns as the throw only let 1 run score. It looked like Gonzalez is going to stay. Or excuse me, Alvarez is going to stay at third base. And it's Bradshaw with the RBI double.
So the Blues kept him on the ground, but Bradshaw hit it hard, right down the right field line. No chance for Zach Tollerman, the first baseman. And now the Blues will bring the infield in. Kite McDonald, the batter now. McDonald is 1 for 3, a single back in the 3rd. First pitch, and the left fielder from Wichita State takes it outside, 1-0. So now it's a 3-0 game for Arroyo Seco, and they've got a chance with 2 runners in scoring position, 1 out, to really make this inning hurt for the Blues. Alvarez at third, Bradshaw now at second as Moreno deals, and McDonald swings and misses, 1 ball and 1 strike. Tough blow already in this inning for the Blues as the hits are finally coming back to bite San Luis Obispo. Still 2 runners aboard as Moreno really needs to bear down here with the 2-hole hitter McDonald at the plate. 1-1 on the way, and McDonald takes low with a slider, 2 balls and 1 strike. Now, you never want to advocate for loading the bases, but the Blues do have the base open at first if they want to set up a force at any base.
Yeah, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, especially for a hitter like Kite McDonald. He's got 9 RBI on the year so far. Moreno trying to prevent 10 and 11.
2-1, and McDonald takes outside, not really close. 3 balls and 1 strike. McDonald did pick up his 10th run batted in on that 1 hit he had back in the 3rd, so searching for 11 and 12. And a warning to the dugout on the third base side after a ball.
Picking up where they left off, I guess.
6 Saints tossed late in yesterday night's contest. For them, it was funny, but the league might have an issue with it. But a 3-1 count. 3-1. McDonald fights it foul. Not to say that they've fully developed the reputation, but the view around the league is that the Saints are a chirpy team. They're one that they'll get in the grill of the opposing team. They'll chirp it up with the umpires. And continuing here in slow.
It's quite cartoonish last night, though.
That was
something else.
A funny sight, but this time a close game, not quite as laughable. 3-2, and McDonald takes strike 3 call. drops his bat as the dugout not happy with the call. The second strikeout for Moreno here in the frame, 2 away.
The best slider of the day coming out of the Bronco right-hander, coming at a great time. Locks up Kite McDonald for strike 3. Great placement.
Perfect payoff pitch, and here's Jordan Rogers. So Moreno was allowed the 1 run in this inning, but now he's an out away from limiting the damage. You've got Jordan Rogers coming up. Rogers hit a big double as last time up. 1 for 3 goes the third baseman from Wichita State. Second and third, 2 outs now. Moreno deals, and Rogers takes a fastball in the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. We've got Bradshaw at second, Julian Alvarez, the runner at third. 3-0 Arroyo Seco lead here in the 7th. Moreno bent at the waist as the infield backs up for the Blues. 0-1 the count. Moreno a deep breath. Now he strides and shoots. And Rogers ahead of the breaking ball. No balls and 2 strikes.
That now just replaced the strikeout slider for the best slider of the night. Incredible movement. You can just see the baseball throw on the brakes and dive down into Matt Spears' glove.
0-2 the count. Moreno a strike away from getting out of the 7th, keeping it just the 1 run. 0-2 on the way. And Rogers shoots it foul. Just got a piece of the last second. So the count's still 0-2. Moreno has got 2 strikeouts for the 2 outs in this frame. 3 out of the pen. This is his second inning of work. 0-2, 2 outs, 2 runners aboard. Jordan Rogers, the third baseman from Wichita State, trying to keep the rally going here in the 7th. Moreno size, deals, and he struck him out. A spinning slider on the inside corner for Moreno. He strikes out the side, but 1 more run for the Saints. As we head to the bottom of the 7th, it's 3-0 Arroyo Seco on the Slow Blues streaming network. Bottom of the 7th, it's TJ Adams to lead things off. Bottom third of the order for the Blues, who now trail by 3. And Adams takes a first pitch breaking ball from the phenom, Jacob Henderson, who's now worked 8 innings this summer. No hits, no walks, no runs.
We're seeing it coming to fruition here. I mean, it's no surprise.
0-1 the count on the center fielder from Arizona. And Adams takes outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. So if the Blues want to come back in this game, it'll be a tough task. You got to go through maybe the best pitcher so far, you know, pound for pound, inning for inning in the CCL. 1-1. And Adams takes a little outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. I mean, we've seen some lively arms that have thrown more innings than Jacob Henderson, but if you're talking about, you know, what a guy has done on the innings that they have thrown, you can't have a better couple of outings than Henderson. who misses outside here, behind the count 3-1.
You take a look at the stuff. Velocity-wise, not going to blow you away. I think for the hitters more, it's about the movement coming out of the arm of Henderson.
3-1 on the verge of walking his first hitter. And he deals in a strike, swing and a miss from Arizona. 3 balls and 2 strikes. TJ Adams, the center fielder for the Wildcats. Now a full count. First batter here in the 7th. The Blues just need base runners, and then they need to bring them in. Adams trying to reach to start the 7th frame. And he swings and misses. So Henderson goes from 3-1 to strikeout. And there's one away here in the 7th. And the composure there to fall behind in the count. And we talked about it yesterday, Nate. When you try to not walk someone, it doesn't end up working. But he still comes back and strikes him out.
Henderson did not bat an eye. You can see the confidence he has just walking around the mound right there, taking his time. He knows his slider moves like a frisbee. He knows his fastball can cut, and he just trusted it, went right at it with TJ Adams.
Here's Cody Darcy. 2 strikeouts for the third baseman from Arkansas State. He's behind the count 0-1 on a perfectly placed slider.
That's just a really tough pitch to hit. I'm not sure what you really do with that, especially first pitch.
0-1 the count as a throw got away from Henderson from his catcher Jones. Blues only a couple more outs to play with. We're here bottom 7, a 3-0 Saints lead. The Saints have not shied away from adding to their lead across the last couple innings. The Blues still trying to get on the board. 0-1. And this time Darcy chases that pitch. No balls and 2 strikes. I think you're right. It's just hard to hit.
I'm not really sure what you do there. So much movement.
Henderson ahead in the count, 0-2. 1 away. The righty deals. And Darcy strikes out. 3 Ks for the third baseman from Arkansas State. This one on 3 pitches.
Yeah, why not? All 3 sliders. Why would you change it up? It's working very well for Henderson.
Blues have struck out now 3 times against Henderson, and the 2 balls they've put in play, one was a ground ball hit below 30 miles an hour right back to the pitcher, and the other a pop-up off the hands of Tollerman to second base. Henderson continuing his dominance across the CCL in this game against the Blues. 9th inning of work. Still no walks, no hits. This is Cade O'Hara, the 9-hole hitter, shortstop from Texas. O'Hara went the other way for a base hit his last time up. 1-0. Henderson a long hole. Now he deals. And O'Hara hits it off the helmet of the catcher Jones. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Sort of the first time we've seen the slider start in and break in the middle of the plate. O'Hara just a little behind on it, fouling it straight back. Typically with Henderson, we've seen it start middle, break away.
So 1-1 count is a little extra time being afforded to the catcher Alec Jones from Cincinnati, who took that one right off the dome. A 1-1 count, 2 outs here in the 7th. Henderson comes set. Bright yellow gloves that match the Blues uniforms, and that's another slider for a strike. So now Henderson a strike away. The righty trying to retire O'Hara to finish off the 7th inning. Blues need base runners. They need them fast. Henderson sets. He delivers. And O'Hara strikes out swinging. Henderson strikes out the side. A quick frame here in the 7th. As we head to the 8th, it's still 3-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top of the 8th, 3-0 the score here on the SLO Blues streaming network. And the Blues desperately searching for answers against a Saints squad that's 3-0 against SLO. And it's Kyle Dunning that comes into this game to face the middle of the order, starting with Chase Meggers as the DH from Oregon lifts it foul.
Dunning's had 7 innings of work so far this summer, or 5 innings of work, with 5 strikeouts, just 2 earned runs, 1 walk.
Meggers, Hammond, Alec Jones, 4-5-6 for the Saints, who lead it by 3. Dunning deals from the stretch, and Meggers takes a backdoor breaking ball in there for a strike. The Saints are 3-0 across the first 3 games with the Blues after dropping 5 of 6 to San Luis Obispo last summer. 0-2, and Dunning misses outside. A complete change of fortune for the Saints against the Blues. And a chance here with a 3-run lead in the 8th to make it 4-0 and officially already take the season series. 1-2. That's bounced on the ground towards first. Long range for Tullerman. He squares up, throws, and can't make it to the bag as Dunning falls over. Meggers beats it out. It's a single to lead off the inning. And Nate, you know what that means. 6 straight innings of the leadoff base hit.
Wow. Yeah, when you're a team like that putting up 6 straight leadoff base runners, you're just going to win games. Plain and simple. They're up 3-0 already. And I'm just glad Kyle Dunning came up healthy after that dive. It was an awkward fall, but I'm glad he's up and now back on the mound.
It was a nice effort by the Blues defensively, but you never really see a first baseman get a ball that far off the bag, and that's asking a lot of him to make a perfect throw. It's like you're a quarterback and you have to hit the receiver on the run. It's a difficult play.
Tollerman moving to his right. Those long legs have to go and cross across the tremendous momentum he already had going towards second base.
Jack Hammond here, the first baseman from Long Beach State, and even count 1-1. Hammond has struck out twice and popped out.
Let's talk about it. We couldn't tell for sure, but did we receive a little dugout warning?
Meggers starts his leadoff first. He's now 2 for 3 in this game. 2 singles, a hit by pitch. As Hammond pops this one up, right field side and out of play over the light fixture and off the light fixture. Back onto the field. No broken glass. It would have been bad because the Blues are camped right underneath it in the bullpen. I haven't seen that all year.
I don't know if I've seen a ball be that close to a light fixture before. You ever seen a ball bust a light?
I have, I think once. But now all the Blues are retreating back from underneath the light fixture. They I think, saw they got lucky once, and they're not going to test it again as Hammond takes outside 2-2. It is very rare.
It's like in the natural.
Yeah. Runner at first, nobody out here in the 8th. Dunning's first inning of work, and Hammond at the plate. 2-2 offering, and that's high. That's a 3-1. So the call earlier in the at-bat was ruled a strike on the board, but not a strike. So first and second with nobody out. I guess that means they said the first pitch of the at-bat was a ball, but I thought it was right there on the outside corner.
The peculiarness continues. Is that a word?
Peculiarness.
Peculiarity?
Yeah, I was going to say
Yeah.
peculiar reality or something like that. Yeah. I think it's neither of those are a word. Alec Jones now the batter. First and second for the Saints. Nobody out. As Dunning delivers. Squared a bunt by Alec Jones, and he takes outside. 1 ball and no strikes.
Peculiarity.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. It's a hard word to pronounce. Meggers at second. Hammond at first. 2 straight base runners allowed by Dunning. 1 an infield single, 1 a walk. And Alec Jones is 0 for 3. A ground ball double play and a strikeout his last 2 times up. 1-0. Jones squares to bunt again, pops it straight back up and off of the marketing tent that's right in front of us. I thought I was going to have to make a play.
You were so ready for that. You guys didn't see, but Jack stood up from the chair, both arms out.
I want to make a catch.
You're on your toes.
That's probably the closest one we've had to coming in here so far this summer.
Yes. We talked about it before the season, saying, the angles don't quite happen that way. A ball wouldn't come in here, but
on a bunt, it makes sense,
Yeah.
actually. And Jones didn't quite lay it down. In fact, quite the opposite. A very long foul bunt over the netting. 1-1, no square, and Jones takes outside, and it's right through the glove of Spear to the backstop. Both runners advance second and third with nobody out, and Spear just didn't see it.
getting to that time of night, A little hard to see the ball. Spear at the last second throwing up the glove, giving up 2 free 90s. Now runners in scoring position all of a sudden.
So now 2 runners in scoring position, a 2-1 count on Alec Jones, and our double RBI opportunity here for the catcher from Cincinnati. Jones 6 runs batted in so far in the summer despite the sub 100 batting average. 2-1. Jones pops it up. Shallow left, but mile high. Lewis broke back, now has to race in, and he makes the catch. No tag at third from the runner there, Meggers. So an non-productive out from Jones, 1 away.
That looked like it broke the record for highest pop fly we've seen today.
That was set earlier today.
After Hammonds in the 6th. It's like double the height.
So 1 away now, Roberto Gonzalez to the plate. The second baseman from CSUN's had a nice game. Came into the day hitting 133, but he's 2 for 3, 2 runs scored on 2 singles. Still second and third. Blues have the infield in and an intentional walk. So Gonzalez tosses off the elbow protector, the shin protector, and the fruit punch color bat, as the Saints broadcasters were calling it. And now the bases are loaded with 1 away.
Wouldn't want to break that one.
So now Dean Traynor coming out to the mound. I'm sure this isn't to pull Dunning, who's in his first inning of work. Maybe just a chance to discuss some strategy with the Blues. You got bases loaded, a 3-run game, and with the way that this one's working and who the Saints have on the mound, I'm not sure the Blues can afford to give up another run.
No, and Dunning really in a tough spot here with the bases loaded and just 1 out. Granted, you could get a ground ball, hopefully flip a double play here, but just a tough spot, as the Saints could really just put the foot on the gas right now and make this one out of reach for SLO.
Bases juiced, 1 out. And the Saints, as you mentioned, a chance to really pour it on here in the 8th inning. Dunning is giving up the single, the walk, the pass ball from Spear, and then the intentional walk. And the batter will be Mason Hammonds. The shortstop from Tarleton State so far today is 1 for 2, a single, a run scored, and a sac bunt. It looks like now that the Blues are opting to play the corners in, or at least even with the bag. Zach Tullerman is off the line with his front of his feet on the infield grass. At third base, Darcy even with the bag. First pitch is in the dirt. This time a nice backhanded stop from Spear. 1 ball and no strikes. The middle of the infield is half in, half back. And I think they'll make a game-time decision if the ball's hit to them, whether to come home with it or try and turn a double play. 1-0 the count on Mason Hammonds. Dunning delivers, and Hammond swings and misses. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Dunning got a nice slider of his own. Seeing it showcase here against Hammonds.
1-1 the count. Bases still loaded. 1 out in the frame. Dunning comes home, and Hammond takes a high slider. 2 balls and 1 strike. The Blues have yet to be shut out at home so far this summer. Not something that you want to see happen for a first time, but the offense has just not been clicking coming out of the break. Pitching trying to keep it close as Hammonds climbs the ladder. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Hammonds catching a break on the 2-seam fastball. I think that was a miss, but Hammonds went after it up in the zone.
So now time is called, and I think because Dunning went to his mouth and then didn't wipe it off, he's got to exchange the baseball. So he's got a new one. 2-2 the count, a clear strikeout spot unless he can roll a ground ball.
Definitely don't want to walk either. Just got to make sure you're keeping it in the zone. Dunning having some difficulty with his command so far.
2-2, pitch to Hammonds, and the shortstop lines it into center field, a base hit. In comes TJ Adams to cut it off before it gets to the gap. 1 run in to score. Runner held up at third as the throw comes in. It's Meggers that scores 4-0 on the base hit from Mason Hammonds.
Unfortunate break for the Blues. It's the placement of the infield. Can't help but think if O'Hara was playing where he normally would, he has a chance on that ball. But because he's playing halfway on the infield, there's no shot.
Now Julian Alvarez coming to the plate. Cal Baptist center fielder has walked, singled, and struck out in this ball game. And now a 4-0 game. The fans start to hit the exits. 8th inning, and the Blues trail it by 4. Right on left matchup. Alvarez, the 9-hole hitter, takes a first pitch fastball on the inside corner, 0-1. Bases still loaded. Infield stays at their same spots that they were at. The middle infield about halfway back. Corners playing just in front of the bags. We got Hammond at third, Gonzalez at second, Hammonds at first. And Alvarez pops it in the air, shallow left. Out goes the shortstop O'Hara as he ranges onto the outfield grass. He makes the catch. No tag by Hammond at third, so a non-productive out from the 9-hole hitter, 2 away.
Dunning forcing the soft contact on the infield pop fly. Good job on Kate O'Hara communicating with Jariah Lewis out there left. We're getting to that time of night, getting close to the twilight sky. Extra important that you're communicating on pop flies, and O'Hara did a great job right there yelling, "I got it."
So back to the top of the order, it's Connor Bradshaw, the right fielder from Pepperdine. Doubled his last time up after starting the game 0 for 3. Bases still juiced, 2 outs. Dunning comes home, and Bradshaw ropes it down the right field line. If it's fair, it's gone, and it is just out of play. No balls and 1 strike. This is a line shot. I can't tell whether that would have gotten over the fence or not. I think it did, as there's kind of an outcrop down the right field line. It would have cleared the fence right down the 320 marker down the right field line.
Still hit very hard. Don't want to go back there again on Bradshaw.
0-1. That's a little bit outside and high. 1 ball and 1 strike. The ball was hit 99 miles an hour foul off the bat. Crazy to say when the Blues have had so many runners on, already 4 runs for the Saints. This game could be a lot worse for the Blues on the hill. 1-1. And Bradshaw lines it straight back. Another nice swing for the right fielder. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Oh, we're getting to Hacken. He's swinging very hard right now.
And he wants a grand slam. The bases loaded, 2 outs, a 1-2 count. And Dunning a strike away from keeping it just the 1 run here in the 8th. Righty deals, and Bradshaw ropes it into right field. Another base hit for the Saints. In to score is Hammond. Here comes Roberto Gonzalez around third, and he scores. It's 6-0, another knock for the Saints.
Yep, Saints starting to pour it on now. Doesn't get the grand slam, doesn't really need to. That single just does enough damage with the 2 runs coming in. Nice and easy swing. Pull side to Nin Burns. The Saints get 2 more.
6-0. The bases are no longer loaded, but runners at the corners. Second hit in a row across the last 2 innings for Bradshaw. This one knocks in 2 after he picked up an RBI in the 7th. And the batter is Kite McDonald. Dunning steps off. Kite McDonald, the batter, he's 1 for 4. 2 strikeouts, a single back in the 3rd. And there's a ground ball to third, and it eats up Darcy at the third base bag. In to score around third is Hammonds. It's 7-0 and an error for the Blues, the first of the game, and things are getting ugly.
Yeah, now we're starting to see the defensive miscues carrying over from last night's game into tonight. Cody Darcy got away with some ground balls last night at Jackie Robinson Memorial Field. He was able to sit back on him, play it off to his side. But now at Sinsheimer, as we've talked about, plays a little faster, a little skippy. Can't be playing it off to the side and letting it go underneath your glove. Down to up, square up the ground ball.
4 runs in the frame, and this first pitch is in there for a strike. 0-1 the count on Rogers. The Blues went into the break, Nate, on a 3-game win streak, and if things continue here tonight, they'll be swept in their first second-half series. 0-1. Rogers swings and taps it right back into the glove. And sometimes you can get away with losing after a winning streak, but with the way the Blues lost yesterday and the way that they're on track to lose today, just completely erases the momentum of the win streak.
Not something that you typically see. Like coming out of the break, you can be a little lethargic, but not at this level.
Swing and a miss by Rogers. Ball gets away from Spear. He's got to make a long throw, and he gets him out at first. So a strikeout for Dunning. But the Saints bat around. They score 4 more as we head to the bottom of the 8th. It's now 7-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top of the order for the Blues in the bottom of the 8th. It's Nin Burns, Jariah Lewis, Jacob Ruley, a game that's now a little out of hand. 7-run lead for the Saints here in the 8th.
At this point for SLO, just trying not to get shut out at home.
And a huge crowd that showed up to this ball game. We assume maybe in the 1,200s, 1,300s. They want to see the Blues score a run. And Burns leading things off against Henderson. And the issue, Nate, is they've got to go through, as we talked about, maybe the best pitcher in the CCL. Henderson has now thrown 9 innings, no hits, no walks, no runs. So he's basically thrown a perfect game.
Makes it extra hard for the Blues offense, who are already struggling with just the pitchers we've seen throughout the CCL to manufacture runs with scoring position. But now they can't even get them on with this pitcher.
Yeah, they had 5 hits through the first 5 innings. Since Henderson's come in, 4 strikeouts. He's gone 6 up, 6 down. 0-2 count here, and Burns takes inside on the breaking ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. I guess it's technically not a perfect game because he did have that one catcher's interference, which would be the worst way, I think, in the world to lose a perfect game. But it's a no-hitter with no hits, no walks, no hit by pitches, and no runs across 9 innings. Of course, it hasn't all happened at once, but you can combine. 1-2 the count on Burns. Henderson, the righty, deals, and Burns takes well outside, 2-2. The 5th appearance for Henderson. He's working his 3rd inning. He's struck out 4. The 2 balls put in play were a ground ball right back to him and a soft flare to second. 2-2. And Burns takes outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And if you can assume anything off Henderson's stats and what we've seen today, this will be in the zone.
It's going to be a slider, too.
Calling it early. Outfield and the infield both play Burns to go the other way. Henderson readies. Here's the payoff. And Burns takes low. First base runner allowed by Jacob Henderson this summer. It's a leadoff walk here in the 8th.
Seems like the fans knew it. Cheering over Nin Burns, jogging over to first base.
He is human. So Burns reaches for the first time today, and the Blues have speed on the base paths. They'll need a miracle here to come back in this one. 7-0 in the 8th. It's Jariah Lewis to the plate. Lewis has flown out to center twice. 1 deep, 1 shallow. He's also single.
Hitting the ball hard today.
Probably seen at the best of any Blue. And he takes a little bit high, 1 ball and no strikes. Lewis had a 5-game hit streak going into yesterday's game. Picked up a walk, but didn't have a hit, so lost the hit streak. Maybe starting another one today with his single back in the 3rd. Blues right now just looking for some silver linings to show up as Lewis fights this one foul and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Right idea there on the swing on the slider. Just a little out in front, fouling it directly back into the restrooms.
1-1 the count, runner at first. It's Nin Burns, who stole in a similar spot yesterday and was thrown out. I think maybe he learned his lesson from that game. We'll see if he goes here. 1-1. And Lewis hits it in the air. Shallow into right center, and no one can find the ball. Now Burns takes off for second base. This could still be a force out, but the bounce is too high. It is a infield single on a pop-up for Jariah Lewis. There's a 2-hit day.
There's the twilight sky coming into play. I think you and I both saw it and threw our hands up. Where'd it go? And that's exactly what the infield did with the Saints. That's why it's extra important you're communicating on those pop flies at this time of night.
And you know what that is? That's the first hit allowed by Jacob Henderson this summer.
Wow.
That's about the worst way that could happen, too. First and second for the Blues, nobody out, and it's that time of the night where if a ball's hit high enough in the air, you even see the right fielder, Bradshaw, right now. He's staring up, and he's trying to figure out whether he'll be able to see anything. Every outfielder is trying to look up at the sky, and they're throwing their hands up like, how are we supposed to see a ball right now?
And as a hitter, you want to go, let's throw it in the sky. They can't see it. Try to hit it in the air. But, of course, when you try to do that, you try to loop your swing, you're just going to swing right through it, especially with a pitcher like Henderson up on the mound who's got some serious stuff.
The slider almost looks like it rises. There's no way you're getting under that. Jacob Ruley takes a slider on the outside corner, 0-1. And one of those pitchers where they throw from the sidearm delivery that some of the pitches look like they gain a little bit of elevation. 0-1 the count. Jacob Henderson working with runners on a place he's not quite familiar with, and he deals a slider out. 1 ball and 1 strike.
It's like the wiffle ball we were playing with, the riser.
Yep.
Did you put the holes on top or on bottom?
You put the holes the opposite of the way you want the ball to move. So if you want it to move up, the holes go to the bottom. If you want to throw like a changeup and it drops, the wiffle ball holes go on top.
Right.
1-1. That's a little bit low. And I think the science on that is if the holes are facing the opposite of the way, the wind will catch it from that and take it the way you want it to go.
You've done your physics homework.
Well, common sense for you. 2-1. Henderson looks to second and now deals a little inside. 3-1. And here a chance with 1 more ball for the Blues to load the bases with nobody out. And who would have thought against Henderson, who's had such a phenomenal summer. Blues have Matt Massiangelo warming up in the pen. 3-1 here, and Rulli takes outside. 2 walks and a hit, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. Now, we said 7 runs is a lot, but bases loaded with nobody out is a bad situation for the Saints.
It looked like Henderson was motioning over towards the dugout, shaking that right hand. Not really sure what that means. I couldn't tell with the netting if he was saying to come out here or what he was doing.
Maybe?
Yeah.
We were told by the broadcasting crew, by the Saints, that Henderson wasn't supposed to pitch in this game at all. Instead, he's working into his 3rd inning. That's a big change of philosophy, at least for a coach, or decision-making, to go from shutting down a guy for a game to having him throw into the 3rd. The conversation going on atop the hill. Blues have bases loaded, nobody out. The batter will be Matt Spear. Aaron Milam staring up into the sky himself as he chats with his infield. 2 walks and the infield single on the pop-up that nobody could find.
Saints do have some action in the bullpen over here. Right-hander.
Henderson stays out, so he'll have to battle through. Bases loaded with nobody out in the frame. You've got Burns at 3rd, or Lewis at 2nd, Rulli at 1st. Spear coming up is 1 for 3. A fly out, a ground out, and a single.
These ducks on the pond can fly.
Probably the 3 fastest players outside of Ricken and Adams. You could argue that these are the 3 fastest players the Blues have, and they're all on base. First pitch to Spear, and the San Jose State catcher takes a strike on the outside corner. Got to score here if you're the Blues.
Yeah, no outs, bases full.
0-1 the count on Spear. Henderson works from the stretch, trying to battle around the base runners, and he deals in a slider a little off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Looking a little close there. Still had the movement it has so far in his outing, but just couldn't quite clip that lower half of the strike zone.
Blues could change this game with the swing of 1 bat. Spear up, Ricken on deck. 1-1, and Spear takes on the outside corner. 3 straight pitches he's taking, and it's 1-2. Can't look to walk with the bases juiced. You try and put something in play, either hit a deep enough fly ball or pick up a hit. They're not going to run.
Definitely a situation where you want to do damage. Look at that right center gap as well.
1-2. Spear takes inside and almost hit him. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That would have been a nice gift for the Blues. A run for free. Spear was the first batter that Henderson faced, and we still haven't really figured out what happened in his at-bat. Hit a ground ball right to him and didn't run it out at all. I'd love to give him the benefit of the doubt, but did not look good. 2-2, and Spear fights it foul. We never know the circumstances when it comes to something like that, and we're not going to assume anything, but just the optics of it, a tough at-bat.
Maybe it looked like didn't know where the ball went. That's what I'm going to say.
You'd like to assume that he wasn't just giving up with the ball right back to the pitcher. 2-2. Henderson delivers, and Spear strikes out swinging. They can't do that in a situation like this. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Spear down on strikes, 1 away. And now Henderson's a pitch away from getting out of the inning.
Yeah, not a good spot to strike out there. But, you know, like I've said before, that slider, very tough pitch to hit, especially with 2 strikes and you're fighting up there. You're just doing anything you can to avoid exactly what just happened. And it doesn't help when you're getting a wicked slider coming in at you.
So here's JT Ricken. 1 out now in the 8th. Blues still have the bases loaded as Henderson comes home, and Ricken takes high. That's now the 5th strikeout. Jacob Henderson just dominating out of the pen, but some interesting circumstances here in the 8th. The bases are loaded with 1 out. 1-0 to Ricken, and the third baseman, or the DH today, takes a little low. 2 balls and no strikes. So 2-0, bases still juiced. You've got Burns at third, Lewis at second, Rulli at first. After Spear struck out, it's Ricken ahead in the count. 2-0, and he pops it up into shallow right center. This time the second baseman Gonzalez sees it, and Roberto Gonzalez makes the catch. Burns fakes as if he was going to tag, and a perfect throw from Gonzalez chases him back to the bag. Back-to-back non-productive outs for the Blues. This one comes in a 2-0 count.
Background getting a little darker here at Sinsheimer, so Gonzalez was able to see it better. He's calling off his outfielders converging on the ball, and Alvarez and Bradshaw is able to make the play, and then Burns applying the pressure with the fake go.
Here's Zach Tollerman, 2 away now in the bottom of the 8th. The Blues had bases loaded, nobody out. Got to find a way to score a run. They're trying to avoid being swept at home for the first time this year. Zach Tollerman, the first baseman, is 0 for 3 in this game. 2 pop-outs, fielder's choice. And Tollerman takes a first pitch fastball on the outer half for a strike.
Saw that rising action you were talking about a bit. Cutting and rising.
0-1. Cuesta College first baseman at the plate. Pitch on the way, and Tollerman bounces it to second. Right at Gonzalez, makes the throw, and they get out of it. Jacob Henderson allows the bases loaded with nobody out, and then 3 straight outs. The Blues do not score. We head to the 9th, still 7-0 on the Slow Blues streaming network. Position player in for the Blues for the second straight night on the mound. This time it's Kate O'Hara. And O'Hara's got, of the position players, maybe the best stuff for the Blues. And he's worked 1 scoreless inning. But another game back-to-back, the Blues are opting for a position player on the mound late in the game. And O'Hara deals in to Chase Meggers. Changeup on the outside corner. And just for a team that went into the break, ultra hot, 3-game win streak, not what you want to see 2 games out of the break. As Meggers takes right on the inside corner, no balls and 2 strikes.
No, you can't lose 2 games in a row in this fashion, especially when you're coming in so hot. You feel like you really the switch just clicked.
Hit into left field, a base hit for Chase Meggers. And our runner at first, and hey, that's 7 straight innings with a leadoff hit.
Yeah, you're hoping it'd end here, but it just continues on for the Saints offense here in the top of the 9th inning.
Kate O'Hara gives up the base hit. Here's Jack Hammond. Hammond walked and scored last inning. It was a 4-run frame, 7-0 now here in the 9th, and that pitch is a little low, 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0. And Hammond takes a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike. And Nate, let's take a look across the CCL South because Blues lost today. If the Oaks were to win this game, the Blues would drop out of a playoff spot into 5th place. 1-1 the count. Hammond takes another fastball for a strike, 1-2. And Conejo in action right now, bottom of the 5th against the Riptide. That game's a 2-2 tie. So after Conejo won Game 1, tied right now with the Riptide in Game 2. 1-2 on the way. And Hammond bounces it on the ground, could be 2. Darcy, the new shortstop, an underhand flip to first. Not a double play, but the Blues got the fielder's choice at second. So 1 out in the inning. But Nate, if Conejo holds on to win that game, and the Saints obviously still win here today, the Blues will drop down to 5th a day after they had a chance to advance to 3rd place.
Yeah, now just as I was saying, you're coming into the break, you really just feel like a switch flipped for this offense and for this team as a whole. And now all that hard work going away after 2 embarrassing losses, I'll say, against the Arroyo Seco Saints. And now the Conejo Oaks, now they're getting hot, putting up great battles against the OC Riptide, who's 2nd place in the CCL South.
We've got a pinch hitter here. It's Max. This is still Alec Jones, the umpire writing down something else. It would look like a little break for a pinch hitter, but it's still the catcher from Cincinnati as O'Hara kicks and deals, and Jones swings and misses. No balls and 1 strike.
Looked like he ejected someone.
Someone ejected for that was the 2nd straight night already. It was 6 yesterday, 1 today. And the Chippy Saints, another ejection. 1, and Jones pops it up straight back. Spear chases it to the netting, and right in front, he makes the catch. Down to a knee. So far down near the netting, we couldn't see it, but Spear comes up to rob his other catcher. I cannot believe someone was thrown out for a 2nd straight night.
Yep.
Here's Roberto Gonzalez. I think the key to the summer, and we've learned it, it's key in most sports, you have to beat teams when they're struggling, and you have to continue on when you're playing well, because you never know how many times that's going to be happening. The Blues only 2 times in this league season so far have won back-to-back games, and now with what is sure to be a sweep here by the Saints, kind of squandering that 3-game win streak.
Yeah, especially when you're barreling into the playoffs, fighting for the Oaks for that last spot in the CCL South.
2 balls, no strikes on Roberto Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a nice day. 2 singles. He's been intentionally walked. 3 runs scored. 2 out. Gonzalez taps it foul. 2 balls and 1 strike. Odds of right now, only 1 ejection. A while to go for the Saints if they're going to even out last night's total of 6. So O'Hara cleaning things up for the Blues here. 7-0 the Saints lead. Runner at first, 2 outs. 2-1, and Gonzalez takes high. O'Hara comes home, and it's bounced to second. On the backhand, Rulli boots it, and it's an error by the second baseman. 1st and 3rd with 2 outs.
Talked about the hard surface that Sinsheimer is. A lot of skips coming over at Rulli at second base, sliding on the backhand, just a little too hot. Also catches a bad hop in that backhanded glove.
So here's Mason Hammonds, the shortstop from Tarleton State. 2 singles for Hammonds, 2 runs scored. He's also got a sacrifice bunt and a strikeout. So another runner in scoring position for the Saints. Feels like every inning they've got guys dotting each base as Hammonds lines it straight back. No balls and 1 strike. It's not the way the Blues wanted to come out of the break.
No.
Two away. Here top 9. 7-0 Saints lead. O'Hara deals, and Hammonds hits a rocket to left. This might hit the bus. Way foul, but way deep. And that's strike number 2, a long one.
Seen some towering shots tonight. That just adds to the collection. Roped, but foul.
Who knows? That might have delayed the Saints' trip back to Arroyo Seco. Bus might be out of commission. 0-2 as O'Hara looks back to the second base bag. Kicks and deals. And Hammond strikes out swinging. A curveball from O'Hara gets the shortstop out of the 9th. And we head to the bottom half of the frame. Blues need 7 to tie, 8 to win as we head to the 9th. Bottom of the 9th, Blues coming back up in a game that's gotten away from them. 7-0 here in the bottom of the 9th inning, in the bottom third of the order coming up for the Blues. It'll be Adams, Darcy, O'Hara due up against a new arm coming in for the Saints, Anthony Giannetti, who recently committed to UTSA.
Yeah, so far this summer, 8 2/3 inning of work, just 5 earned runs, 11 strikeouts. That makes it a 5.19 ERA after his last season at Louisiana Tech with a 3.18 ERA, 11 innings pitched.
7-run lead for Arroyo Seco. Game seems probably out of reach for the Blues, but as we talk about in every one of these kind of games, a chance, Nate, for the Blues to maybe take a silver lining in it tomorrow. It's a 7-game homestand. This is just the first game of the set. So there's a lot more games at home for the Blues, and really their last long homestand of the summer. And you can't just roll over after one game. So trying to find something to take into tomorrow. And a swing and a miss. And the Blues get the Academy Barons tomorrow. That's definitely a beatable team. The Barons only 4 wins so far in league play. One of those against the Blues, but a chance for the Blues, if they can find some momentum today, carry it into tomorrow. A team that Blues could definitely win one or both games against.
Especially playing at home, here in front of this great crowd at Sinsheimer, wrapping up the season. Have to get the pendulum, start swinging your way somehow. It's got to start somewhere.
Starting here with Adams in the 9th, 1-2 the count as Giannetti stares in for his sign. Comes set at the bell. 1-2 on the way, and Adams strikes out swinging. So 1 out in the 9th. We were going around some scores in the CCL, and let's get you the rest of them. The Foresters right now, after needing extra innings to beat the Barons yesterday, are ahead 10-0, and that game ended up final. So the Foresters a 10-run win over the Barons. And looking in some CCL North action, the Lincoln Potters up 11-7 on the Walnut Creek Crawdads. So that's a big matchup at the top of the North. The Solano Mudcats trail the Sonoma Stompers. That's a 7-3 game in Sonoma. And the Conejo Oaks Orange County Riptide still tied at 2 apiece. So we'll have to see as the night gets longer what happens with that Oaks and Riptide game. But there's a chance, Nate, if the Oaks end up winning that game, that we'll come here tomorrow with the Blues in 5th.
Some extra work for SLO.
Maybe a wake-up call as Darcy takes a little bit low. Darcy trying to avoid wearing the golden sombrero tonight. He's 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts swinging, a strikeout looking. Gianetti working from the stretch, stares in for his sign. 1-1 the count. Righty deals, and Darcy takes a little off the inside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Two one. Darcy bounces it on the ground. No strikeout here, but a nice play by Rogers, who collects it in the dirt, throws low, and Hammond digs it out for the second out in the 9th. And Darcy puts it in play, but a nice play by Rogers, who ranged to his left. 2 away now, and the Blues' last hope is Kate O'Hara. Shortstop, pitcher, 9-hole hitter.
That's right. Athlete.
And Kate O'Hara had, outside of the first inning from Ryan Baum, probably the best other inning today by Blues pitcher.
Yeah.
Didn't allow a run. 7 runs in this ballgame for the Saints. Now 20 in this series. And only 2 games.
Hard to win with that.
And it's so uncharacteristic. We see the Blues give up, on average, around 3, maybe 4 runs a game. 13 yesterday, the most in a game this summer. And it's carried over to today, and the offense has not helped.
Especially going into the break where both were clicking so well.
O'Hara pops it up. Could be the end of the ball game. The first baseman, Hammond, foul territory right side. He makes the catch, and the Blues are shut out at home for the first time this summer. It's a 2-game series sweep at the hand of the Saints, the second such sweep of the year, and the Saints win the season series through just 4 games.
Coming out from a game, especially like yesterday against the Saints at their place, you cannot lose a game like that back-to-back nights. I know they can, and they just did, but if they really want to secure that playoff bid, they have to capitalize on games like these with the runners in scoring position, sometimes just getting on and pitching just a little better on the back end.
Well, the Blues have now lost 4 straight to the Saints to open the season series against Arroyo Seco. The Blues were 5-1 against the Saints last summer, and it's worth questioning just what happened, but the Saints have come back with a vengeance here in 2023. 2-game sweeps of the Blues, including this 7-0 victory here on the Blues home turf. We'll be back tomorrow. Blues and Barons, game 1 of 2, an on-field home run derby with the fans before the game, and hopefully that's enough to lighten up the Blues, and they need a win going into tomorrow. Still searching for their first win of the second half. For my partner, Nate Mills, I've been Jack Smith. We'll see you tomorrow. First pitch at 4 here on the SLO Blues Streaming Network.